there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World. Today we're slowing it down a bit in charming Savannah, Georgia, the Hostess City. So, from southern hospitality do's and don'ts to delicious food, ghost tours, and cultural shocks, get ready to experience the best of this historic southern gem, Savannah, Georgia. So, let's get started with 100-ish hours of Savannah, Georgia. We're going to focus on those things you don't do when you come to Savannah, and that's why this video is the don'ts of visiting Savannah, Georgia. And my first don't for you, I'm going to start actually at the airport, is don't freak out when you walk out of the airport in the summertime. The reason I say that is the heat and humidity here in Savannah in July, August, early September can be super, super high, super intense. And I remember the first time I came to visit Jocelyn here. She lived here for 10 years. I remember I'm in the airport with the air conditioning, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm ready, excited. Kisses here. Let's go see Savannah. And the doors open and I go, I mean, I couldn't breathe because the humidity was so strong and so dense. And so it kind of freaked me out. The thing is, it took like 10 seconds. I was okay. But that first humidity, man, don't freak out. Don't freak out. It'll be okay. That's why Jocelyn will tell you, it's like, look, your best times to come is from October through April or May. Those are the best times to come. Actually, Jocelyn will tell you her favorite times are April and October because you got great weather, you got the foliage, and you've got the flowers in the spring and all kinds of stuff, so that's really cool. But that's my first one. It's just FYI for that one. My second don't for you is when you come to Savannah, and really in the South, but in Savannah specifically, don't forget your manners, your sunblock, and your bug spray, okay? Look, don't forget those thank yous and pleases, and yes, you are going to give your seat up to that nice old lady or nice old man that's in that room with you. You're going to do that. Manners are key here in Savannah and anywhere in the South, and it should be anywhere in the world, but here specifically, okay, so don't forget your manners. Another don't will go along with that is, look, the sunblock, the sun is can be very hot here, very intense, and yes, we do have these beautiful trees here, but the thing is, you're going to be walking around the city a lot, so make sure you put on your sunblock and reapply. And if you're going to go to Tybee Island and go to the beaches out there, man, make sure you're lathered up a lot. And those bug spray, okay, the baseball team now is called the Savannah Bananas. It used to be called the Savannah Sand Gnats, which I thought was more appropriate because the sand gnats, the palmetto bugs, which are like big flying roaches, yeah, those things will freak you out. And the mosquitoes, oh, they'll eat you alive in season. So make sure you do bring those bug sprays to kind of help out with those things. There's CVS's and all those places around here. You can pick it up, but just a heads up for those. Now, my next don't for you is don't be surprised how friendly the people are here in Savannah. I mean, it's kind of like that. You're going to the store and people randomly talk to you and be friendly with you. Yes, that is how it is here. People are super friendly. That's why it's called the Hostess City, because people go out of their way to help you, be friendly to you, show the tourists around and things like that. We're at this restaurant called Flying Fish, and my credit card fell out of the container. It went through the slit in the floor. They pried open the floor to get my credit card out. I'm like, whoa, I could have canceled it, man. You didn't need to do that. But that's the kind of friendliness you see here in Savannah, and that's why I really love coming back here, because the people are super friendly. So don't freak out about it. They're not being fake. They really are that friendly. You know, one of the things that might help along that friendliness is don't be surprised if you see a few open containers of alcohol when you're walking around the downtown area. Look, Savannah is one of the few places in the US where you can walk around with open liquor in a plastic cup, no glass containers, all plastic and stuff like that. You can do that, so that kind of is one of those things. But just know that don't take that plastic cup of beer or whatever anywhere downtown. There's specific places where you can go with that, so just a heads up for that one. Now, my next don't for you is don't forget to book your accommodation early. Savannah is an incredibly popular weekend destination and holiday destination, not just for couples and romantics or art connoisseurs or architecture history buffs. It's for all kinds of people. The Girl Scouts of America were founded here, so in the summer you have Girl Scout trips going all over the place, and they'll have conferences here and all kinds of things, because it is such a gorgeous city with usually great weather. And so things book up very quickly. So if you're gonna come here and you want a good place, you want to be on Bay Street here at the River Street Inn or wherever, you need to book early, okay? And the thing is, if you're looking at St. Patrick's Day, which is really popular, the St. Patrick's Day parade here in Savannah is one of the biggest in the US, you really need to book quite early, okay? Now, my next don't for you has to do with when you fly in, you're going into the Savannah Hilton Head Airport. Look, my next don't for you is don't tell Savannians that they're like Hilton Head. It is night and day. Hilton Head, versus Savannah. Savannah is historic center and charm and all kind of stuff like that. And Hilton Head is, it's timeshares and golf courses, okay? It's a very different setup. So even though the airports have the name together, realize the cities are completely different, all right? And don't call the Savannahans Hilton Headers. That will not go over well. Now, my next don't for you is don't be scared when you come to Savannah. Savannah is one of the most haunted cities in America. Yes, you will see ghost tours and haunted tours and all kinds of stuff that you can do when you're here. And you'll see the cemeteries, and you'll see go to the pirate's house to eat, and they'll tell the stories of the pirates and getting shanghaied and stuff like that. And realize that there are a lot of ghost stories, there are things like that. So you don't have to be scared about that. But I will say one of the don'ts for the things to worry about is don't be complacent with your safety downtown late at night, okay? Savannah has had a crime problem for a while. They're working on it, but it is something that tourists should probably take heed to. So if you're going out and you don't feel comfortable, maybe it's time to head to a different part or a different street or head back to your hotel. But that is something you really have to consider when you do come here. Now, we're staying here down on River Street and Bay Street and stuff like that. We haven't had any problems this time, but we have seen there have been issues, so just a heads up for that one, okay? But most likely, the most dangerous thing you're going to run into as a tourist here is probably the Spanish moss. When you see the Spanish moss around here, it looks cool. It's that stuff, that moss that's hanging from the trees. Like, oh, that is so cool. Let me grab it. Let me touch it. Let me hold it and rub it on me. No. Don't touch it. Don't rub it on you. Don't get anywhere near it, because the Spanish moss is full of little bugs that are going to bite you, and make you itch all over. So keep it off of you. So if you got little kids and it falls off, do not let them play with it, because, ouch, ow, mommy, it itches, ow, ow, ow. That will happen, okay? Now, another thing that kind of throws the tourists off here, so I want to give you a don't on this one, is don't think that the monuments inside of the square have anything to do with the actual name of the square. So it can kind of throw you off, for one square is named this, but the monument is to this person, and there's another square named after that person in a different monument there. It gets really confusing. So just be like, hey, what square is it at? Don't do the monument thing. Just say which square you're going to. Also, with those squares, don't forget how to drive around the square. That is one of the things that frustrates the locals the most, is tourists driving the squares. Look, if you're gonna be coming up on the squares here, and there's lots of them, is when you have to realize is you have to give way to the people that are already going around the square. Okay, so if you're coming up to a square, you have to let the other cars go around first. You don't just go right into it. And sometimes that can be confusing, because you're on a straight road going, and then all of a sudden you're out of square. You have to realize, no, I have to stop, even though it's a straight road. I have to wait for them to go around, and then I can go. That's one of the biggest things I see tourists make mistakes, and that's where I see the most car accidents here in Savannah, so do have a heads up for that. And I guess another don't I have for you is parking. Don't. It sucks to park downtown here in Savannah. There are a few parking garages, but there's not a lot of them, and it gets really frustrating to find parking. So that's one thing, is if you're gonna stay downtown and they valet park you, and you will have to pay the valet parking for it, just valet park it, leave it there, and then just walk around the historic part of town, because you can do that easily. The trolley tours and stuff like that you can do to hop on, hop off. There's plenty of stuff for that. And I guess that would be another don't I have for you, is don't skip the trolley tours, and actually any kind of tours here, because Savannah has some of the most excellent tour guides in the country. I mean, they have to take tests to be the tour guides here. It's really great. And if you're going to take one of those trolley tours, take it from the Savannah City History Museum, where the Georgia State Railroad is, and over there, really two fun museums to go to. It's also where the Children's Museum is too, so you can have a nice day there with the kiddies too. You hop on the trolley, it takes you around the town, gives you a great tour of the city with great explanations. So when you walk around and see these beautiful buildings, you know the history behind the Davenport House.
Another don't in Savannah is don't mess with the meter maids. Pay wherever you're parking. You make sure you're paid up, because they will get you about 5 seconds after it expires. Also, there are sweep zones in much of the historic district, so it'll be like a weird time in the middle of the night. And I remember running out and pouring down rain and, well, all kinds of weather to move my car before the meter maid got there, or before the sweeper got there. So don't mess around with those, because you will get tickets, and those fines double and triple, and oh man, you can get your car booted real quick. So don't mess with the meter maids. Make sure you pay those meters, and don't park in the sweep zones.
But another don't I have for you is, if you are going to be driving downtown, don't get too close to the line when you're driving on Bay Street. That's that kind of main drag that goes through the city, because you have big trucks that actually go through there. And Jocelyn has lost a mirror off the side of her car, and you will see that. So do pay attention when you're driving down Bay Street because it can be pretty bad, okay? Another don't I have for you is don't think Savannah is just the historic center. Yes, you have the bells going off and the great tour guides and the great trolley buses, see they're ringing to say hi. You have these fantastic peoples, but don't think it's just the historic center. They've got all kinds of other fun stuff you can do. You can go out and explore. And yes, I do make fun of Hilton Head, but you can go golfing there and doing that. But for me, what you want to do is you want to head out to Tybee Island and hit the beach there with the beach bars and get your beach cruiser and ride around there. And you can have a lot of fun when you are here. And that's why I say, don't be surprised if you fall in love with Savannah, because it's got something for everybody. It's got the history, it's got the architecture, it's got great museums, it's got great people, great food, great atmosphere, beach. I mean, the only thing that really sucks is the hot weather where I'm melting away here, all right? Honestly, this place is fantastic and you will not regret coming here. Savannah is known for its cuisine, and no, it's not just Miss Wilkes and Paula Deen. There's so many great things to have when you're here. And so I want to kind of give you some of the overall main food type of dishes you should look for at some of the traditional restaurants here, but just know, whatever you want to eat here in Savannah, they've got, okay? And if you're looking for exact restaurants, I'll name a few restaurants here, but we actually have another video where I go through the exact thing I order at different restaurants here in Savannah, okay? So just want to give you the heads up for that. But I think if you're going for a traditional Savannah thing, you have what's called a low country boil, okay? And what it is you're boiling this big, huge pot of water, and you put it in potatoes, and there's corn, and there's sausage, and there's shrimp. And then the thing is you can get it at restaurants in some places, but if you want to have a really good time, you're gonna make it yourself or with your friends here. And what you end up doing is literally like you drain the water out, and then you just dump it all out on some newspaper, and you just enjoy it with your friends. Everybody's eating and picking at it and have a good old time. You dunk the Old Bay all over, then dump that on there. It's phenomenal. That's one thing is here's a really big thing is that low country boil and the seafood that's in there, that shrimp. And that's why it's another thing I want to tell you. Like, a lot of people think, oh, Savannah, it's only fried foods there. No. I know Paula Deen made the Ladies and Sons, made it famous for, oh, everything's with butter here. That's not true. Okay, one of the reasons why you know that is if you see the seafood that's here, yes, you want to have the shrimp. You'll see shrimp, you'll see grouper, you'll see red snapper, you'll see so many different fish when you're here and seafood that you're gonna love it. Oyster roasts in the wintertime are fantastic to go to if you could get them. Going to places like the Crab Shack on Tybee, yes, it's kind of touristy, but if you're going there for some good crab legs, it might be touristy, but you can't go wrong with that. And there's so many great places to have seafood when you're here, whether you're down on River Street, yes, which is very touristy, but if you're going to other places as well, you have that shrimp and grits at Cotton and Rye or other places, you really can't go wrong with that, okay? And I know I said not everything's fried when you're here, but yes, a lot of things you can get fried when you're here. But for me, my favorite fried thing to have when I'm here, going back to that seafood, is if I get an oyster po' boy. If you're not sure what a po' boy is, it really is just a submarine sandwich or a hoagie. Wherever you're from in the U.S., you kind of know that big sandwich. But what's in there is they slice it and they put breaded fried oysters on there, and there's this remoulade and maybe some lettuce and some tomato. I mean, it's a phenomenal eat to have when you're here. I like to have it at Tubby's Tank House, whether it's in Thunderbolt or whether it's downtown, but anywhere you go, you're not going to go wrong. And if you don't like oysters, because you're like, that's kind of a weird texture, you can get shrimp po' boys as well, and you'll be very happy with that. Now, as we're in Georgia, and we are in the South, you can't go wrong with barbecue when you're here in Savannah, and there's a number of really good barbecue places around Savannah and in the islands. Myself, I prefer Wiley's on Whitmarsh. You go out there, get their pulled pork or their burnt ends, their brisket. I mean, they've got a lot of really good stuff, and their sides that are there, you can do very well, but it's not just there. There's other barbecue places around town you can go and enjoy, so you have that option. If you want to go for some of the Southern fare, look, yes, it's a tourist trappy kind of place, but getting the honey pecan or honey pecan fried chicken at the Pirate's House, yes, it's totally touristy, but it's actually pretty good. But really, if you can go a lot of places and have the fried chicken when you're here, you're not going to be unhappy, because people here demand good fried chicken, so you're getting good fried chicken at places that sell fried chicken. But I will warn you, if they offer you chicken and waffles, probably not going to get really good chicken if it's not a chicken place, okay? So have a heads up. But fried chicken in general, you can't go wrong when you're here. And some of the other Southern fare you might have, fried green tomatoes, yes, you can get that here. Pimento cheese and use as a dip, you can do that. And heck, I was at B&D Burgers, which is a local burger joint here. They got like four 4 restaurants around town, and I had their Winslow, which was a pimento cheese and fried green tomato burger. Yeah, it was a perfect combination of things that you can have. So you have that, and since this is a vacation place, you do have the vacation stuff like the burger places. Crystal Beer Palace is another place, great place to go for drinks and a great burger when you're here. So you do have that. But I know when we think of coming here, a lot of times Savannah, it has much more of a sophisticated eating kind of thing. And I know there's one place Jocelyn and I like to go. It's 45 Bistro, and we get their beef carpaccio for a starter. It's wonderful. That's a good, like, nice thing to have when you are there, because it's downtown. It's a nice atmosphere. It's a nice bar. You can have drinks and when you're there and have some nice beef carpaccio, so it's good. And I think that's another thing you need to realize is Savannah is very much a drinking city. There's lots of fantastic bars throughout the city. And no, I'm not saying go on a river street. Like, go throughout the city and you'll find fantastic bars all times of the day and night. Now, some don't open until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but you can find some good drinks around here. One of the local beers you should have is Moon River. Moon River's brewery's got some really decent beers you can have. They do have a brewery on Bay Street. I recommend just getting the beer, maybe not the food there, but the beer is really good, and they'll have that around town, so you can do that. But, you know, there's also other things like if you're looking for Chatham Artillery Punch, which is an adult punch they have at the Pirate's House, that other places also work on their cocktails as well. You can do that. But one thing you need to know is if you're actually in downtown Savannah, you can get a to-go cup for your drink, for your adult beverage. No glass, no glass, like glass bottles, none of those things. But they'll give you a to-go cup to walk around the historic district. Now, don't drive off with it and come out the islands. That's not cool. That's not allowed. But downtown, you can do that. But if you're looking for a place to get some sunset cocktails, one of the places Jocelyn and I go with our friends when we visit is AJ's Dockside, which is actually out in Tybee. You can go out there for that as well, for sitting by the dock, seeing the sun go down, having some good seafood. And yeah, a lot of their seafood there is actually fried, but it's worth getting, don't you worry. And the thing is, you have a lot of really fun food when you're here. If you're downtown, if you're at City Market, probably one of people's favorite pieces to get here in Savannah is Vinnie Van Gogo's. It's that really thin, big, huge slices you can get, or you can get a whole pie for your family. Yes, for the family to share. You could do that if you like your family or you feel like sharing. If you don't feel like sharing, you don't have to. There's another thing I think is important to mention. This is one that Jocelyn really loves. Is there's actually a flourless chocolate torte you can get at Garibaldi's. And actually, when Caleb was born, that's our oldest son, he was born here in Savannah, that was what she had as her like first meal after she gave birth, because that's how important it was for her to have that. But they have other really good stuff there. They have a crispy Scored's flounder there that's really good as well. You could grab, so you have that. If you're looking for more like the meat and three southern food kind of stuff, there's a lot of places around town that let you do that, so you can get the collard greens and the butter beans and the baked beans and all the, you know, the southern sides. You can get those with the fried chicken, with the ribs, or with the all the other meats you can get with there. There's a lot of places you can do that. For me, you know, we go to Sisters of the New South on Skidaway to grab that. Get 4 or 5 things for all of us, and we just bring it back to where we're staying and eat there, and we're very happy. And if you do go to the Sisters of the New South, tell them that Mark from Wolters World says hi, because they are fantastic ladies and they make fantastic food. Now, if you want to go back to some more of the traditional Southern fare, you know, you're just like, look, I want to know, like, I want to feel like grandma's old-time cooking kind of stuff. Miss Wilkes is a great place to go, and what's cool is they serve their food family style there, so you're sharing your things with everybody, so that's kind of nice that you can actually try more things because everybody's sharing. So if you're not sure, like, do I want to try okra before? Do I want to have the color? They have it set up so you can do that, so it's really a nice way to do things. So Jocelyn wanted me to tell you a few places to have some drinks when you're here. If you're looking for cocktails with live music, you know, you might want to go to the basement of the Pink House. Now, you can eat the Pink House afterwards, but go downstairs, maybe some live music, and have some drinks from there, because their bartenders do a really good job making some really good drinks. If you're here in the winter time and you want to sit by the fireplace, you can go to 1790, which is a really cool, like, historic, like, bar kind of thing. If you're going to be doing any of the ghost tours, I'm sure they'll point it out to you, don't worry. But actually, how many drinks you probably end up having there is more scary than the ghosts you might see around town. But something to think about. Another thing I think is really interesting is, like, a lot of people forget that it's not just the southern seafood that's here. You could go to Rancho, or Rancho Alegre, which is a Cuban restaurant here that people really do enjoy. And I know we've gone there a number of times over the years. So that could be another option if you're tired of the Southern cuisine and the barbecue. Well, have some good Cuban food at Rancho. And then I need to come to kind of a controversial recommendation or warning, and that's Leopold's ice cream. Now, Leopold's ice cream, don't get me wrong, Liam loves it. He's like, they got great flavors, they're great. Liam loves their ice cream. But when you see the line for it, sometimes you're like, you know what, maybe I'll get that Ben & Jerry's across the corner, because the lines can be extremely long. And when it's summertime and that heat's beating down on you and it's like 100 degrees outside and 100% humidity, it's good ice cream, but it's not that good ice cream. So if you want to have it, if you're flying in, they actually have a kiosk in the airport, like past security and before security. So you can actually try it there and have that already at the airport. So you've had your Savannah social light or something more normal. You like chocolate. I mean, you can do those things. My personal favorite is their hot cocoa ice cream, which I have in the wintertime. It's not hot cocoa. The ice cream tastes like hot cocoa with the marshmallow stuff in it. Oh, so good. But honestly, you have other ice cream places you can go, and your local friends, they actually probably don't want to go with you to Leopold's because of the line. Like, they don't think it's bad. It's not, no, the ice cream's fine, but it's just the line you get might not be worth the wait. If you're going to be like just melting away, you can get other ice creams when the lines aren't so long, then grab it when you're there. No matter where you're in Savannah, you're gonna have fantastic food. And for me, when I come to Savannah, the first place we all wanna go to is Wiley's Barbecue out on Wilmington Island. And Wiley's, I mean, I know you're thinking, Mark, you have all these restaurants in downtown. Why are you starting at the island? Well, it's where I like to go first. And Wiley's has amazing pulled pork, but honestly, any of the barbecue you get there is gonna be wonderful. The sides as well. I mean, when we come here, we bring friends, we take them to Wiley's. So that's my first place I go. Wiley's Barbecue, get the pulled pork when you're there. Now, if you're in town and you're looking for a little appetizer, Jocelyn and my favorite appetizer here in Savannah, you go to 45 Bistro on Broughton, okay? And they have beef carpaccio for a starter. Oh my God, it's so good with the fried capers on top. Oh, it's amazing. Like, even if you're just going for a drink, get that as an appetizer. You can go someplace else, although their food is really good anyway. Honestly, that beef carpaccio at 45 Bistro is a must-have when you come here to Savannah. Now, my next treat I have for you is if you're going to be coming and you want to have some more of those, what people think of more fried fun when you come here, my favorite kind of fried-ish kind of food is if you get an oyster po' boy from Tubby's Tank House. Now, Tubby's, you can go to the one on River Street if you want. We actually used to live out by the one in Thunderbolt, and we go out there on a Friday night with the live music and all the fun, and you get this sandwich, okay? It's a po' boy, so like a baguette sandwich, you know, cut down the middle, and they'll have the fried oysters in there and the remoulade on there. Oh my God, that is one of my favorite things. We used to come here for my birthday. I'll go to Tubby's to have their oyster po' boy because it was that good. So that's another thing you could get if you're looking for something a little fried. We have that for you. Now, next on my list is actually what we had yesterday for lunch, and that is Sisters of the New South. If you want to have the old meat and threes, but like soul food meat and threes with really great fried chicken or grilled chicken or ribs, or there's so many great foods that are there, and all the sides you've ever wanted ever, Sisters of the New South on Skidaway is a must. And what's cool is you can get it as a takeaway. They'll fill it up for you. You can take it home, and it stays very, very well, so you can bring it back to your apartment rental or wherever. But yeah, Sisters of the New South, fantastic soul food. And for the meat and threes, we get the meat, the three sides, you want to have that. Also, get their desserts. Well worth it. Now, if you're coming here with your kids, they're probably going to want to have pizza eventually. And if you're going to be at City Market and with your kids, you'll probably go by City Market. You got Vinnie Van Gogo's, which is a good pizzeria there. It's like the thin pizza with the big slices. You can get it by the slice, but if you go with the family, get the whole pizza. I mean, it's actually good pizza when you're there. And City Market's probably a place as a tourist family you're going to hit up. So Vinnie Van Gogo's for a slice, you can't go wrong. Now, speaking of kids, one of the things my kids love to do when we come here is actually go to the Pirate's House. And when you go to the Pirate's House, yes, they'll have fun stuff for the kids, but they have Chatham Artillery Punch, which is an adult beverage, which packs a punch, if you know what I mean, but it's actually really sweet and really good. But if you go there, you want to get the honey pecan fried chicken. That is one of the things my kids get every time we come here, and I get it as well every time I come to Savannah. We go to the Pirate's House, we have to have that. Yes, the Pirate's House is kind of a tourist location, tourist restaurant, but the food's so good, you don't care, and especially when it's that honey pecan fried chicken, I don't care. I'm going there to have that. And if you want another like touristy place that shows up a lot, Mrs. Wilkes. If you go there and you want some real Southern food served family style, so you're all sharing, that's actually a really good place to go too, especially if you got a nice big family coming, because then you have a lot of stuff you can all share and try different things. Now, when it comes to date night, there's one place that Joss and I like to go. It's called Cotton and Rye. What I love about Cotton and Rye is every time we come, it seems like the menu has changed. So they really do have, I don't know if it's a seasonal menu, but they have a rotating menu of really great food. And no matter what we've had when we come, the food at Cotton and Rye has been good. I know last time I was here, yes, I went for a traditional, shrimp and grits, but my God, it was some of the best shrimp and grits I've had. And it didn't seem like a traditional shrimp and grits. It was just wonderful. And the desserts, also really, really good. So Cotton and Rye can be a nice kind of date location to go to. Now, if you're looking for desserts, I'll be honest with you, I've never found a bad dessert here in Savannah. There's a number of bakeries you can go to get cakes and pies and all kinds of stuff. Restaurants do you really well when you're here, when they finish you off with a fantastic dessert. But I think one of the things that people like to do is actually get the ice cream that's here. And you've got Leopold's ice cream. And yes, the line can be very, very long during the summer. But if you're here in the winter, one of my favorite ice creams to have there is their hot cocoa ice cream. That one's worth getting. If it's not winter and they don't have the hot cocoa ice cream, I get the Savannah Socialite, okay? So those are two ones I recommend from Leopold's. And honestly, that line's really long. So a lot of times I get my Leopold's ice cream at the airport when I fly in, because there's a kiosk inside where the gates are and outside before security. So you got multiple chances to have your Leopold's without the line downtown. But there's no line, go get it when you're downtown. It's worth a bite or two. And then I want to finish off with something that finishes a lot of people off. And that is, if you're going out to Tybee Island, go to Tybee Times and get some of their adult slushies. Yes, whether it's a rum runner or whatever, just know you'll get a slushie that's infused with alcohol that will knock you on your butt, okay? But it's one of those things, when we go out there, we're gonna hit the beach for the day. I'm heading up to Tybee Times, bring us back some ice slushies of adult deliciousness, and they're gonna be good. I know we've loved living here. Jocelyn lived here for over 10 years. She went to SCAD when she was here. Our oldest son, Caleb, he was born here right in Savannah. So it's been near and dear to our hearts for over 20 years. And we've seen a lot of changes, but some of the things that have stayed consistent over those years is that tasty food and some other things. But I want to give you kind of the best things to do to have a good time when you're here in Savannah. I think it really starts off with, you should go and head over to the Savannah History Museum and grab a trolley tour from the beginning. Because you take those trolley tours, they go around town and they give you a great layout of this city. So you know, oh, the Pirate's House is over there, and that's where I go down to River Street, and oh, here's where Forsyth Park is with the square and the fountain. Like, it gives you a good overview of the city, but also they tell you about the history of it. So you know, oh, that's the Mercer House, the one from Midnight in the Gardens of Good and Evil. Like, you have this really good, like, kind of setting, like, base of knowledge of Savannah for you to enjoy it more. So start off with that. And after you finish that trolley tour, go and visit some of the historic homes. And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of historic homes and home tours you can do when you're here in Savannah. Some of the better ones, some of the ones I recommend. If you want to go where it all started with historic preservation in Savannah, you go to the Davenport House. Okay, that's one you got to go see. If you were in the Girl Scouts, you know, remember Julia Gordon-Lowe? Her house is here. You can take a tour here. And you'll notice in the summertime, there's a lot of Girl Scout troops that'll be coming through to get their history tour of her and the Girl Scout movement, which has a really big impact here in Savannah. Also, you can go to the Mercer Williams house, which is the house from Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. You can do that. Also, you go to the Owens Thomas house. They actually still have the slave quarters there, so you can see what their life was like. I mean, there's a lot of really great historic homes that can teach you a lot about the history of the U.S., not just of Savannah, because there's so many here. The Green Meldrum house worth going to, the King Tisdale house, the Harper Folks house. I mean, there's so many historic homes that you could just list them and list them and list them. But pick a few to visit when you're here, because that's going to give you so much more and help you appreciate the city so much more when you're here. So after you've done the historic home tours, if you want more of a museum-y kind of experience, you have the Savannah History Museum you can go see. That's where you grab that trolley, the first stop. That's where you went and got it. You can go there and see that to learn about the history of Savannah. But what I like, when you're there, there's also the Savannah Children's Museum you can take the kids to, but the Georgia State Railroad Museum is there as well. And even if you don't like railroads, it's still kind of cool to see the different railroad cars they have there. And sometimes you actually get to ride the rail. I mean, it's not very long, but you can get on their turntable, and as it turns your engine and you go. I mean, it's kind of a fun thing to do, but if you're looking for museum stuff, I recommend that. But let's be honest, you didn't come to Savannah for the railroads. You didn't come here for the historic homes and beautiful squares and Forsyth Park and the architecture. No. You came here because Savannah is famous for its food. And so when you come here, food will be a big part of your visit to Savannah. So you're going to eat well. So prepare accordingly. And yes, they have the touristy restaurants you've seen on the Food Network, Mrs. Wilkes, where you eat family style, going to the Pirate's House and having their honey pecan fried chicken. Yes, those are wonderful, but they're kind of touristy, but they're still worth eating. But you have so many great restaurants around the town that you don't have to go to the tourist spots. Those top 10 lists on TripAdvisor are where all the tourists go. Ask your concierge, ask your place where you're staying, where should we go eat? Because for us, we love going out to Cotton and Rye. They have an ever-changing menu when you go there, and whatever they have, it's gonna be good. Going to 45 Bistro in Broad and getting their beef carpaccio, oh, it's wonderful. Heading out to Tubby's, whether it's on River Street or going down to the one in Thunderbolt, you can go there and get a fantastic oyster po' boy. Going out to the Crab Shack, yeah, it's a little touristy, but it's still fun to go and do. There's so many touristy places, but not touristy places to eat. When you're here, you're gonna eat fantastically. So eat, and eat some more when you come to Savannah. Because honestly, for as beautiful as this city is, the cuisine is even more beautiful. So after all that fantastic eating, you might think, oh, I have no room for anything else. Well, my next thing you need to do when you come here is actually go out and have a drink, because there's so many great bars to enjoy your time here in Savannah. And what's cool is you're in downtown, you can get a to-go cup and finish your drink while you walk to the next bar. I mean, there's a lot of places to go and enjoy a drink when you're here. Downtown, or you're going out to the islands or different parts around the city, you can have a really good time when you are here. That's why this is a very popular place for friend getaways, bachelorette parties, because you can have a really good time eating and drinking and just enjoying yourself when you're here. So make sure you give yourself that time to enjoy some of the libations here in Savannah as well. And sometimes you just don't want to spend money. I don't want to spend money on the alcohol, I don't want to spend money on the food, because I'll be honest with you, Savannah is a little pricey when you come here because of all the tourism and other things that have really kind of upped the prices in downtown. But if you're looking for like free stuff to enjoy when you come here, yes, you can go to the park and hear the people play music, but just going around and taking in the beautiful architecture around the downtown area. I mean, SCAD has done a wonderful job of renovating and restoring a lot of the historic buildings around town. Now, SCAD has a interesting history, and people in the town have a love-hate relationship with SCAD. But the fact is they have restored a lot of the buildings around downtown to help make Savannah beautiful. So walk around and take in that architecture. And it's not just 1800s historic stuff, even more recent things they've redone to really make nice. And it's not just SCAD, but other people around the city. They have so much pride that architecture, those squares, it just becomes beautiful. Because when you walk around and you take in the architecture, those historic homes, you'll see these beautiful squares all over the city. And do be careful when you're going around the squares, because that's where sometimes tourists have problems. But you go around and you just take in the views. You know, and you'll notice funky things about Savannah, like the square's name is not the same as the monument's name. And you might see a monument that has a name, that there's a square with that name someplace else. It's one of those things that just makes Savannah, Savannah. And just going around and taking all those things in is really free, but it's also fun to do. Oh, and when you're walking around and you see the Spanish moss dangling down, don't play with that, okay? Because it has like little bugs in it. You don't want to play with that, okay? I'm just telling you. It's cute, it's romantic, but no, don't play with it. So next thing I recommend you do when you're walking around, when you see the Telfair museums, you should go into them. And the thing is, the Telfair's museum, the Telfair actually owns a few things, okay? You have the Jepson Center, which has sculpture and modern art. You have that's in there. You've got the Telfair Academy. That's where you're gonna go and see, you know, the bird girl, you know, from the Midnight of Garden of Good and Evil, that statue with the girl holding the birds. That's where you'll see that there. They have the Owens Thomas house you can visit. So the Telfair Museums has quite a few things you can see. So that's worth going to do. And if you're tired of all the culture and beauty and wonderful architecture and historic fun and kind of more prim and proper socialite things here in Savannah, the next thing I recommend you to do is go out to Tybee Island. I mean, seriously. We're talking laid back, whatever, beach time to go to. Go grab an adult slushie, drink that while you're on the beach, throwing the football with the kids. You'll have a good time when you're there. Parking sucks there, but it's still fun to go to if you are looking for a beach when you are here. If you want some more beach time versus like historic time, I do recommend that. Also, if you're looking to do tours, there are so many tours around here. Probably the most popular kind of tours you're gonna see are the ghost tours. And I will tell you, ghost tours are the #1 tourist trap I actually have on my list of tourist traps in Savannah. But the thing is, not all of them are tourist traps, so make sure you read reviews, because they do rank Savannah as one of the most haunted cities in America. But then there's some fun stories to go along with it, but you gotta find the right ghost tour to do that, okay? So read those reviews to find which one works for you. Also, if you're gonna be coming on the weekends, you wanna book those tours, especially the ghost tours, early, because a lot of them will sell out. Because you might just be driving around in a hearse that only holds 6 or 7 living beings, okay? So do be aware of that. But honestly, the ghost tours are fun. There's also architectural tours, history tours you can do. One of the biggest tourist traps that's really blossomed over the last 10 years here in Savannah are the ghost tours. Now, there are some really good ghost tours here. I'm not gonna say all of them are tourist traps, but I do find it funny is, as people saw that ghosts made money, Savannah got a lot more haunted. Like, you know, some places have it rated as the most haunted city in America. So for ghost tour peoples, it's great. I mean, they love the Travel Channel here because all it does is talk about ghost stuff. So you have so many more ghost tours that are here, but some of them really are a tourist trap. So do make sure you read the reviews online for each of the different ghost tours to find which one's right for you, because you want to get one that has a lot more history versus the ghost detector kind of people, because those are kind of really tourist trappy, okay? Now, another thing you have to realize is since we're a tourist city, you do have some of the tourist trappy kind of stuff. Like the locals go back and forth with the pedicabs, they can be fun and easy, but I gotta tell you, for me, they're kind of a tourist trap because Savannah's flat, except getting down to River Street. So you can walk everywhere, go see the squares, go to Forsyth Park, see the historic homes like the Mercer William House behind me. You can walk around and do that. You don't need to do the pedicabs when you're here, so that can be kind of a tourist trap. You can take these trolley buses. These aren't a tourist trap. Going on a trolley bus tour to get a lay of the land is actually a good thing to do when you're here. But the pedicabs, I'm not sure. Another thing that, of course, whenever you have a fun city like Savannah, you do have the other party kind of things, like whether it's the pub crawl tours, or I think the ones the locals would say are the biggest tourist trap are the bike bar tours kind of things. That's also another tourist trap because honestly, you have so many bars here in town that you can go enjoy and drink at that you don't need to sit on a bicycle and do it. So those are a couple things. Another thing I think locals will tell you is always a tourist trap, but one that's worth getting trapped in is going out to Tybee Island. Whether you're getting your adult slushies at Tybee time or getting the over-the-top t-shirts and kind of stuff, yeah, it's a tourist trap, but it's fun to go to the beach out there, okay? And I think kind of going along with that t-shirt kind of theme, another tourist trap I like to talk about is actually City Market. And what City Market is, it's like a block or two of pedestrian street that has shops, restaurants, bars on it, you know, and some of the restaurants are fine, but overall, you just get very much a tourist trappy kind of vibe when you go there. So that's one thing I would say to watch out for, because anytime you see a place that has a blanket t-shirt that just says Savannah in big block letters, yeah, it's probably a tourist trap kind of thing. And kind of going along from City Market, if you go down to River Street. Now, River Street does have a couple really good restaurants. Olympia's really nice. But in general, I'd like to tell you, River Street really is kind of a tourist trap with the shops and bars and restaurants that are down there. Now, I'm not saying don't go on it, because it is worth going down, taking the boat and going around on the riverboat cruise is fun. But just realize what you're doing when you're going down to River Street, okay? It's not the super historic stuff. This is where you go and see the squares to see those beautiful buildings. When you go down to River Street, yes, you're getting your candies when you're down there, and you're getting your tourist shirts and stuff. So you have that, and yes, get your tall boy beer when you're down there. You can do that, but just know River Street can be kind of a tourist trap, especially if you're looking at restaurants in the evening time, because there's so many great restaurants all around town, from Continent Rye, 45 Bistro. You got a lot of options when you're here, so don't limit yourself to River Street, because I feel that's the thing that a lot of the blogs and vlogs have really focused to get people to go down there, when really it's more of a touristy, trappy place that locals probably aren't going to be going to as much as the tourists do. So, hence making it a tourist trap. And speaking of eating, I think you have to realize there are some establishments here that, because of their success, have kind of become a tourist trap. For example, Paula Deen's place. I mean, they had so many people going there and the lines were so long, it was really not possible to maintain the quality of food like they had before, just because of scale, right? I mean, the food is still fine, but it got to be the point where it was like, man, that's too much of a tourist trap. Let's try other places. That's why you have places like Mrs. Wilkes, which became very popular, which locals love. And now that's kind of almost a touristy kind of spot as well. But if you're going around, just realize you have a lot of food options. Don't just go to the places that show up on TripAdvisor's top 5 or top 10 restaurants in Savannah, because that's based on number of people that go there. And to get those kind of numbers, you're gonna have to get the tourists going there, not so much the locals. So eat out more than just the tourist spots. Like Moon River Brewery, it's good for a beer, but don't eat there. Just drink there because their beer's good. And move away to some of the other restaurants around town, okay? And one of the saddest tourist traps, and I hate having to say this to people, is going to Leopold's Ice Cream on Broughton. Look, Leopold's Ice Cream, it's fine. I mean, I love their hot cocoa ice cream. I gotta give them that. Savannah Socialite's also good, but it really is a tourist trap, especially on some of those really hot, muggy days. You know, June, July, August, September, April, maybe a day in March. Like, and you'll see people lined up outside, no protection from the heat, no protection from the sun, just melting away, waiting to get their ice cream. And it really is a tourist trap, because one, if you're flying in, there's a kiosk in, like, through, and you go through security, they have it there. And when you're out of security, they have one there. So you can get your Leopold's ice cream at the airport, but honestly, that line just makes it a tourist trap. You're like, oh, I have to get in this line to go there because it's so beautiful and wonderful and the ice cream will be so good. You'll talk to locals, they'll say it's not all that, but I mean, I find it okay, but I'm not gonna wait in line for it. So that's where it's become kind of a tourist trap. But you can always get your picture, and if there is no line, then yes, go in and grab some, because I'm sure I will if there's no line, but I'm here during a film festival, so I'm gonna guess that line will be long, so I will not be having Leopold's on Broughton. I already had it at the airport yesterday, so I'm ahead of the game. But anyway, I just want to give you some of the fun tourist traps that are here in Savannah. There are more. The first thing, as a tourist, you are gonna have a love-hate relationship with is the weather. That's why I'm gonna start with the first hate, is the oppressive summer heat of Savannah. I'm not gonna lie to you. The first time I came down here to visit Jocelyn, she worked here for like 10 years. And when I came down to visit her, I flew into Savannah. I'm getting off the airplane and stuff like that. I walk into the nice climate-controlled airport. I walked out, it was August. The heat and the humidity, I'm like, I can't breathe. I mean, literally, I thought I was gonna die because the humidity and the heat was so powerful. And if you're gonna come here in the summer, you'll see July and August, it is extremely hot. So if you are gonna come here, and muggy, because it is marshland around here. So if you're gonna come here in the summer, make sure you are staying hydrated. Not just with Chatham Artillery Punch, my friends, and not just with the beers you can walk around town with, but also with water and other drinks, because it can get extremely hot and humid here in the summer, so be careful with that. But honestly, if you get a chance to come to Savannah outside that really July, August, like I'm going to die because it's so humid and hot time, the weather's fine. And I'll talk about that later, okay? Now, the second thing you're gonna hate about coming to Savannah is honestly the crime that is here. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will talk to locals and they'll say, you know what? We leave our car out on the streets, but we don't lock the doors because we don't want people breaking the windows to get in. Savannah does have a crime problem. I am not gonna lie to you about that, okay? And what you should know as a tourist, most likely when you're doing stuff during the day, you're not gonna have any problems. Don't even worry about it. I mean, keep your eyes open, but you don't really have to like be actively worried about it. It is more when you are going out at night and you're going to see things, I would definitely ask your concierge, hey, we're gonna go down to River Street tonight. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? And sometimes River Street, not actually a good place to go at night. Other things you might see is different parts of Savannah. It's like good block, bad block, good block, bad block. And it's kind of a mix of things. So you do want to ask people about that. Now, the city is trying to do things to make it better and clean things up and stuff like that, but as a tour guide and as a tourist kind of person, helper kind of thing, I do want you to know that this crime is a kind of a thing here. So make sure if you've got your car, clean out that car when you park it at night. All your valuables are out of there. Do not give anybody a reason to go in and break into your car. You know, all of these kind of things. So be careful with that. So that's the second thing you're not going to like. Now, the third thing you're not going to like is, well, I'm not going to lie to you. Have you ever seen a flying cockroach? Flying cockroach. Well, it's actually a palmetto bug, okay? The third thing you're gonna hate about coming to Savannah are the bugs. Now, I'm here in February, so it's nice and cold for Savannah, which means it's like, you know, late spring weather in Illinois, okay? It's 56 degrees today, and you'll see everyone behind me, they're wearing all this winter clothes. I'm wearing a quarter zip, and I'm like, I'm totally fine. But the thing is, here in Savannah, when you come in the summer months, like the 6 months, 7 months of the year that are like summertime, bugs can be an issue. I mean, the local baseball team, they're called the sand gnats because there's sand gnats that bug you, there's flies that bug you, and palmetto bugs, literally, they're like flying cockroaches going around. And I remember when I came to visit Jocelyn the first time down here, and we're talking, and this flying thing lands on me, like, ah! I mean, those bugs can scare the living bejesus out of you. Also, you worry about mosquitoes and these kind of things. So the bugs do get a little bothersome when you are here. So if you're gonna be going around, you know, get some bug spray when you can, come, you'll be fine. Here in downtown, it's not so much of an issue, but if you're gonna go out to Tybee or you're gonna go in other parts and see things, that would be something to look out for. Now, the fourth thing you're not gonna like about coming here is this place is fantastic for tourists. There's so much to see, there's so much to do from beaches and history and eating that there are a ton of tourists here. And that leads into some of the tourist issues. The biggest problem that tourists sometimes have is, how do I drive the squares? This is one thing that the locals hate the most about the tourists, is they don't know how to drive the squares. I mean, Savannah's got a ton of squares, and you drive around and the tourists just go. Look, if you're gonna be driving here in Savannah, which you will, and you're gonna be going around those squares, remember, the people that are already on the square, they have the right of way, okay? So let them go, and then once they go by, then you can enter into the square. So be careful with that. But that's one of the things I see tourists are like, I don't know what to do with the squares, and all these people walking around, and when do I stop, when do I not stop? And the locals are like, stupid tourists, what are you doing? Just go, you know, and it is kind of a funny thing, because I have the local perspective, and I have the tourist perspective. But it is all the stuff with the tourists coming here. I mean, it does get packed. If you're gonna come for St. Patrick's Day, it's one of the biggest St. Patrick's Day parades in the world. Not just in the US, but in the world, is here in Savannah. The one year we were here, they had over 1 million people coming to the St. Patrick's Day parade, and you have all these tourists coming in. And so you have the issues to go in with that. Like, the prices get hogged up, and the lodging gets booked out, and sometimes it's hard to get a reservation at the restaurants and stuff like that, and it does get kind of problematic. But probably as a tourist when you're here, I mean, you'll be able to find a place and all kinds of things. I mean, it's a great city, but all the tourist trappings that come with that, especially, you know, figuring out the driving around and stuff like that. And the fifth thing you're not gonna like about coming to Savannah is usually when you go to the south, you think, oh, it's gonna be a nice, cheap vacation. Well, the thing is, Savannah is not necessarily cheap, because yes, we have all those tourists coming in here, and they do drive up the prices to the restaurants. They make it tough to get reservations and all these kind of things, because things get booked out. But I mean, really, the prices here for hotels and going out to eat and stuff like that, it can be a bit more expensive than if you go to other places in the south. Now, the prices here aren't just kind of high because of the tourists. I mean, that doesn't help, but it brings up some. But also, you have a lot of people that retire in this area. That can drive up the prices. But also, you have the Savannah College of Art and Design, which is kind of a love-hate with the community, because yes, they have done a lot to really rebuild and repair a lot of the buildings around town too. But also, they have a lot of students coming in that are, you know, doing art school and stuff like that. That's kind of hiked up the prices in the housing here in the historic area. So that's kind of another thing that kind of raises the price a little bit. So that's one thing I will say you might not like about it. But let's be honest, when you look at Savannah, this place is fantastic, well worth going to. I mean, the 5 hates are all things you can kind of avoid when you are coming here, so not really a big issue. But what are you gonna love about Savannah? Because this place is fantastic. I mean, Jocelyn, literally, if she had a chance to come back here, she'd drop my fat butt, say, bye-bye, Marky, bye-bye, boys, I'm going back to Savannah. She would totally do that to us. So, what are the 5 things you're gonna love about coming to Savannah? Now, I'll be honest, the first thing you're gonna love about coming to Savannah is the Savannah atmosphere and architecture. This place is true Southern charm, whether it is the food, whether it is the people, whether it's how they treat you. I mean, there's a reason why they call it the Hostess City. This place is made for tourism, and the people really live it up. And you go there, and when you go see the historic homes, you know, the Juliet Gordon Low, for you that, you know, that were in Girl Scouts, they have that, the Mercer House. There's so many historic places you can go around here, where there's historic duels, or you want to see a ghost tour, they have that here. There's so much that makes this kind of atmosphere out here, whether it is, you know, the squares and the parks that are here, the Spanish moss hanging down. You have a definitive Savannah feel when you come here, in the atmosphere. I mean, Charleston's kind of cool, but Savannah is something different, okay? And there's something about that kind of atmosphere and that spirit. And with the architecture that is here, the city has really done a great job in historic preservation to rebuild the history of Savannah. So if you want to show your kids, or you want to see what old South was like, you can see the buildings here. And you know what? If you want to go and take a steam train, they have a roundhouse here. They rebuilt a roundhouse. It's a train thing. It's really cool, and you can take a little train ride. The historic museum there is awesome too. Gives you a nice background, but they have all this great atmosphere, and the people have pride in this city. These people say, I am from Savannah. I am Savannah. I mean, it's just amazing how much they love their city, and that's great for a tourist because the people help you. They tell you, oh yeah, you know, you can go to Lady and Sons, that's, you know, Paula Dean's place, but if you want the real Southern tourist food, you need to go to Mrs. Wilkes and all these kind of things. And this atmosphere is great, and the architecture and just the look of the city just make it a fantastic place. That's why that's the first thing you're gonna love, is the atmosphere and the architecture. Now the second thing you're gonna love about coming here is all the really cool stuff there is to do here. Yes, I did say the historic homes you can go visit, the ghost tours you can go to at night. I do recommend doing those. They are really freaking fun to do. I mean, this is one of the hauntedest cities in America. It is cool. But also, if you don't want to do the history, or you do history, you want to try something else, like I want more to it, they've got great bars, there's breweries here, you know, you can go there and check those out. But also, 15-minute drive from downtown, you're at Tybee Beach. So your kids can get history, and you can get history here in Savannah, and then you can go have your beach vacation out at Tybee. Or maybe you want to want to go see Charleston. It's a 2-hour drive away. There's a lot of great stuff to do here in Savannah. That's what's the second thing is, it's not just a historic center that we hear about, it's all the great stuff around here, you know, for kids, for adults, for all kinds of things, from drinking to history to the beach to all kinds of great things. So that's the second thing you're gonna love. Now, the third thing you're gonna love about coming to Savannah is the people. Like I said, Southern hospitality is a real thing. You want to learn about the South, things that'll shock you? Go watch our 10 things that'll shock you about the South, and I will talk about Southern hospitality. And Savannah is no different. This place puts on the Southern charm over the top. Whether it's your concierge is going to be helpful to you, whether it's when you go out to eat, whether it's you're going on the tours, the trolley tours, I highly recommend you doing that because they give you the history, they give you all kinds of great stuff about the city, so you like get this really great feel of it. And the thing is, the people are wonderful. You make eye contact with people and they say, hey, how are you? You know, you go to the store like, hey, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. You go, yes, ma'am, thank you, sir. You have this really kind of polite, wonderful Southern nature here. And the people are fantastic. And the people, they're characters. You go to the bars, you meet the locals, everybody's got some crazy story when you're here. Because this city is a collection of crazies. And it is such a wonderful thing. Because yes, there's some craziness here, but there's really great heart in this town when you get to meet the locals and hang out with them. And the thing is, there's people from all over the US that come here. People from all over the world come here, and they all get to kind of melt together in this Savannah, and it really opens up their heart. And that's one of the things, I mean, I know it's the number 3 love I have on here, but honestly, that's what my wife loves the most about this, is the people. And for me too, I mean, I come back here because I love meeting the people here. It is a fantastic city. And for tourists, that's a great thing. The people, the hospitality, the helpfulness, you can't beat it. And then we go to number 4, is those helpful, niceful people also help you find the best food around. And that's the 4th thing you're gonna love about coming to Savannah, is the eating. Because the thing is, we hear about the Paula Deans and Mrs. Wilkes for that really good Southern food. Yes, that stuff is good, but those are like more popular places. There's so many great restaurants and great places to eat and drink and make merry here in Savannah. And the food here is fantastic. Whether you're having soul food, you're having like fried chicken and mac and cheese and fried okra and shrimp and grits, oh my God, all this great food. But we're on the coast, so you can have oyster po' boys. If you meet some locals or you meet some people and they're doing an oyster grill, if they're doing an oyster roast, you get a chance to do that, oyster roast, these kind of things, it is awesome. Go get some shrimp. There's all kinds of places on the waterfronts, like in the intercoastal and stuff like that, where you'll go and they're like, no, we don't have hush, we don't have fries. We've got beer, wine, and then the fish we find that day, and they cook it up and they serve it to you on a newspaper, and you have this fantastic seafood when you're here. I mean, so you got the traditional Southern fares, right? Oh my God, like shrimp and grits. I'm sorry, I love shrimp and grits. I can't stop myself. I'm drooling. The food here, you know, the fried chicken, all the stuff. But then you get this the fresh fish. I mean, my wife literally lived about, I don't know, 2 blocks from the intercoastal, and we would go and buy shrimp, and we buy stuff for a fraction of the price. So you can get great seafood here at a decent price. I know it's kind of expensive here, but for the seafood and stuff like that, you can get a great price. So the food here, definitely one of the awesome things. So that's number 4. And the 5th thing you're gonna love about coming to Savannah is, I know I said that love-hate relationship with the weather. It is the weather. And the thing is, you can come and enjoy Savannah all year round. I know I said it's kind of oppressive in August, so that might be not the best one, but you can enjoy the city all the time. It's beautiful here at Christmas time. We come here usually every Thanksgiving, so we can see the parade of ships in the river, where they have like kind of like a Thanksgiving Christmas barge light up parade. Come here at St. Patrick's Day. Oh my God, this place has one of the biggest St. Patrick's parades in the world. It is a great time when you come here. Also, the Savannah Music Festival, which is like late March, early April. There's so many things going on all year round, and the weather works perfectly. I'm here in one of the coldest days of the year, and it's like 50 degrees, okay? Like, they're like, oh, it's gonna be really cold tonight, it's gonna get to freezing. Like, wait, I left Chicago where it's 6 degrees, and they got like a foot of snow. They're like, oh, we could never think of that. Here, it's just the weather is great, and you can understand why a lot of people come here and retire, because you can come and enjoy the weather any time of the year. So I definitely can say the weather is one of the things you are gonna love, except for that oppressive heat in August. I ain't gonna lie to you. That stuff just was not cool, all right? The don'ts of visiting Georgia. And the first don't I have for you is don't forget your manners when you come here to Georgia. That yes, ma'am, yes, sir, no, ma'am, no, sir, please, thank yous, opening the door for people, holding the door for the older ladies, giving your seat up. This is a thing here in Georgia, and you need to do it, because if you don't, you might get a bless your heart. And believe me, when they say bless your heart, they usually don't mean blessing your heart. They mean you can go do something else, all right? So make sure you pack your manners when you do come here to Georgia, okay? And the next don't I have for you is actually one that happened to me. The first time I flew down to Georgia, I flew here to Savannah to visit Jocelyn in August, and that is, don't worry if you can't breathe when you come out of the airport in July and August. Look, the heat and the humidity here in Georgia in the summer is oppressive. Like, I remember, think about it. I'm in the airport, go to the airport, I fly down from Illinois, fly here to Georgia, you walk out, I'm like, see Jocelyn, I love you too, sweetie. Walk outside the Savannah airport, I'm like, and I'm like, I can't breathe. Like, I thought I was gonna die. And Jocelyn's like, no, it's just the humidity. Just breathe, you'll be okay. It took me about 30 seconds to be like, it was like breathing through water. It is insane how hot and humid it can be here in July and August. So honestly, be ready for it. You want to have a great time in Georgia, come in April, May, early June, late September, October. It's gorgeous when you're here, and you're not going to melt or turn into a wet ball of melty wettiness. It can be a bit much. So be ready for that heat and humidity when you come in the summer. Now, my next don't for you is don't think you know what you're going to be walking into when you come to Georgia. Because when you say, oh, I'm going to Georgia, people have a stereotype of what Georgia is. I've got to tell you, Georgia is a lot of things, and it's got a lot of variety from North Georgia mountains to here on the coast, in the low country, in Savannah to Atlanta. You have a lot of different people. You have a lot of different geographies. You have a lot of different, ideologies and mentalities. And what you need to know is when you come here to Georgia, have an open mind, because you will see a lot more people and a lot more thoughts and a lot more kind of discussions and activities and things to do than you expect. Okay, so do come here with an open mind. Don't think you know what you're getting when you come to Georgia, because you get a lot of different stuff when you come here. But regardless where you go in Georgia, another don't I have for you is don't get in a hurry. Look, in Savannah, they call it Slow-Vanna because it's slow. Service takes a while. They're very friendly, but it takes a while to get things done. It takes a while for things to happen. Just relax. Just remember, think like, island time kind of stuff. Not quite that slow like island time, but you really realize in Georgia, things take a little bit longer to get things done. And as a tourist, that means don't get frustrated when you're waiting to get a table, waiting to get your drinks, waiting to get served. You will get served, and you will get served with a smile, and that sweet tea will be just as wonderful. But just know, probably not going to be super fast, okay? So just be ready for that. And the thing is those friendly people that serve you and all around here, my next don't for you is don't pass up the friendly advice. Look, the locals in Georgia love when people come down here, and they're going to tell you, oh, the best place to get shrimp and grits, go here. Oh, if you're in Atlanta, oh yeah, you got to go to Mary Mac's Tea Room and get yourself some food there. It's fantastic. People will gladly share all the information you ever wanted to know about the place you're going to go, because they're very proud of their towns, their cities, their counties, their state. And so they'll tell you, oh, you should go here, you should go there, because they want you to enjoy Georgia. And so listen to them. I know there's a lot of blogs and vlogs out there about Georgia like mine, and yes, you should do that. But I'll tell you what, if your waiter is like, or waitress is like, hey, you know where you should go next? Go here and eat this. Listen to them, okay? Ask them, hey, what should I get? Where should I go? What are the best places to do? Ask them. They'll be more than happy to help you out. And it's really a nice thing, because the people here really are super friendly and super helpful. So take that and use that to your advantage. You're here to learn more about the state, more about the people, and more importantly, more about the food. And speaking of that food, I have another don't for you, and that is don't think grits are just for breakfast, okay? I know a lot of people think, oh, instant grits, that's a breakfast thing. Look, first off, you don't do instant grits when you're down here. It's slow cooked grits, and you have that. And when in the afternoon or in evening time, shrimp and grits is a definite must eat when you are here in Georgia. So definitely grab some when you're here, but don't think grits is just a morning thing. And if you tell somebody from Georgia it's a morning thing, they'll be like, oh, y'all don't know what you're missing, okay? So something to think about when you're coming here. Now, another don't I have for you is don't you dare offer a Georgian unsweet tea. I know people say, well, there's unsweet tea all around Georgia. Yeah, ain't nobody drinking that stuff, okay? This is sweet tea country. When you ask for a tea, you're like, hey, can I get tea, sweet tea? Yeah, it's good. They're going to have it. if you go to a restaurant that does not have sweet tea in Georgia, you should probably leave, because it probably is not a very good restaurant, because locals would not go there because they love their sweet tea. And I'll be honest, if your only experience with sweet tea is like going to McDonald's for their sweet tea, dude, Georgia sweet tea is like next level when you're here. So definitely get that, and don't you dare offer a Georgian unsweet tea. That's just wrong. Another food don't I have for you is don't diss or be confused by boiled peanuts. I know the first time I came to visit Jocelyn, okay, and that was the "ooh, I can't breathe" visit, right? We went to the Piggly Wiggly when it was here, and I walked in and they're like, "Here you go," and they gave me a styrofoam cup, which blew my mind right there, but a styrofoam cup full of wet hat peanuts. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like walking around with this. I'm like, what do I do with these? And I'm like, I guess I eat them. So I threw one in my mouth, the shell and all. And I'd shoot it and swallow the whole thing. And my wife looks at me, she's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, peanut, it was soft. She's like, no. Look, when you get boiled peanuts, you're going to get them, whether it's you go to a gas station and get in a plastic bag or a styrofoam cup or whatever, you're going to get them. And they're hot boiled peanuts. They got some spice in them. You throw the whole peanut with the shell in your mouth, kind of suck on it, chew on it a little bit, crack it, get the peanuts out, you take out the shell, you don't eat the shell, you take that out, and then you eat the peanuts, and oh my God, they are phenomenal. So you get a chance when you're here, this is peanut country, you gotta eat the boiled peanuts, okay? So don't pass them up, and don't diss them thinking, oh, why would I want a wet peanut? Oh, you will love a wet peanut, take my word for it. Now, if you're looking to come to Georgia, I will give you, I know I told you about the July and August heat and humidity, but you can still come, because you have beaches here, you have the mountains to go hiking, you'll still be okay in the heat and humidity, but I gotta tell you, my next don't for you is if you have allergies, don't come to Georgia in March. The pollen is insane. I'm talking, you can scrape it off your car, okay, into your hand amount of yellow pollen. It will rain in March and people are like, oh, look, there's someone drawing crayons on our driveway. No, that's the pollen collecting from the rainwater. I mean, it can be really bad. So if you've got allergies, you're coming in March, early April, make sure you're bringing plenty of Benadryl or your anti-allergy medicine. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable when you're here. Now, the thing is, it might be miserable, but it's still a great time to come. St. Patrick's Day Festival or Parade here in Savannah is awesome. The flowers are blooming. It's gorgeous. So that's another great thing. But yeah, allergy-wise, not the most fun time to be here. And there's another thing I need to talk about in terms of nature here in Georgia, and that is don't get freaked out by the bugs. Okay, you'll have like palmetto bugs, which are giant flying cockroaches. The first time I saw them, I thought it was a bat flying by. Oh, no. Big flying like palmetto bug. It just, don't freak out by them. Just know that they're there. Also, the mosquitoes here are horrible. And you see the Spanish moss hanging there? Don't play with the Spanish moss, okay? Because you play with the Spanish moss, there's little bugs in there that will bite you. So if you got little kids and like, oh, Spanish moss, I'm going to play with this and put it in my shirt. No, don't do that. Do not mess with the bugs when you're here, okay? That's why. Bring bug spray with you. Buy bug spray when you're here. And the locals all have it with them. You don't have any? You go into a restaurant, if you're outside, ask them, hey, do you have some bug spray? Most of the time, they will actually have some bug spray to help people out because, oh my God, the bugs can be really bad here. Now, my next set of don'ts for you for here in Georgia are going to deal with some of the cities and towns around Georgia. And the most important city in Georgia is Atlanta, of course. And my don't for that is don't take 285 around Georgia, because I know a lot of times when you go to big cities, you want to take the ring road around to avoid the bad traffic downtown. Look, all the traffic in Atlanta sucks. I'm just going to tell you that right now. But what you need to know is 285 is where all the trucks have to go. If you go through the center of the city, 75 or 85, trucks aren't on that through the center of downtown. So actually, it's for me, I feel it's safer and better, and so does Jocelyn, to actually take 75 through downtown than it is to take 285 around. So have a heads up for that. And also, don't lose your mind in Atlanta traffic, because no matter what you do, it's going to be traffic. There's going to be a lot of traffic. We're talking 8 lanes on both sides, full of people. Keep your wits about you. You'll be okay. It usually keeps moving, sometimes a bit slower than other times, but just know that you will get through. Don't take 285 around. Just go through and have some patience when you're there and you're driving through. And the thing is another don't I have for you is don't just drive through Atlanta. Like maybe you're going to Athens for a UGA game, or you come down here to Savannah or going to the islands. Look, Atlanta is awesome. Atlanta has so many great museums to check out. The Georgia Aquarium that's there, Coca-Cola World, civil rights stuff. I mean, MLK, there's so many great things to do in Atlanta. And eating there, oh my God, I love Mary Mac's Tea Room. It's my go-to when I'm there. There's so many cool things to do in Atlanta, except driving, because that totally sucks. So when you get there, park the car, use Uber to get around, because it will save you a lot of headaches than you trying to drive around Atlanta, because don't drive in Atlanta. It just sucks, okay? Just letting you know that one. But don't skip Atlanta. All right, it is awesome. If I look at a town like here in Savannah, if you're going to come to Savannah, I will tell you is don't skip out on the trolley tour. I know a lot of times I say, think of it as the hop on, hop off bus, really worth it. Well, here in Savannah, they have a bunch of trolley tours that go around. And what's great, you go to the Savannah History Museum. They have the Georgia State Railroad Museum there. You can do that. That's really fun. I recommend going there. But you can park there and grab a trolley from there. You can grab the trolley around town. It's hop on, hop off. But I like starting there because that's where the tour starts. And the guides, they go through all this history of the city. They talk about the historic homes as you go around, and it gives you an excellent background on this city. So when you're walking around, this part, oh yeah, there's the Pulaski Monument, but the Pulaski Square is actually not where that is. You're like, oh, I didn't know that. Why is that? They talk about these things. And since history is a really, really big thing here in Savannah, it's really good to get that background when you're here. So take that trolley tour. I know I just talked about Atlanta and Savannah, but I think it's really important for a lot of tourists to know that don't think that Georgia is just big city Atlanta and then historic city Savannah. There's a lot of really great things to see and do when you are here in Georgia. So you got the North Georgia mountains. Go to Helen, Georgia. It's like you're walking into a Bavarian village. It's really, really cool. Or maybe you want to go to Athens, Georgia, where the University of Georgia is, and take in a game there. That was a fun time in itself. There's a lot of pretty things to do around there. Or you go to St. Simon's Island or Jekyll Island or, Defusky. There's so many things to see and do in the state that it's not just Savannah and Georgia. So get out and explore more because it's worth it. Heck, go have some Vidalia onions in Vidalia. They have a festival for that. Or you can go to Rock City and you can see 7 states at one time. There is plenty to see and do when you're here. And another don't I need to bring up, especially for people that are from the South, is, I guess I would say, is don't forget the Southern sayings, okay? The bless your hearts, the I'm fixin' to. I'm fixin' to means I'm getting ready to do something or I'm going to do it in the future. Bless your heart can mean a lot of things, like actually bless your heart or bless your heart, you're an idiot, okay? So there's a lot of things there. My wife likes to say, quit being ugly, which is if you're saying something mean about somebody or not being very nice, you'll say, hey, quit being ugly. Like, just stop that, okay? There is a lot of sayings that are out there. And so what are some of your favorite Southern sayings? Put it down in the comment section below so we can share some more ones. Of course, keep it clean, keep it fun, but it is one of those things. You will hear, like I said, with those manner things, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, no, ma'am, no, sir. You make sure you have that. You'll have a good old time when you're here in Georgia. Now, there is one way you could not have a good time when you're here in Georgia, and that is anytime it snows or there's a hint of snow or a hint of ice, the entire state shuts down. So if there's a threat of snow or ice in like the next 2 or 3 days, don't leave your house. It's going to be a mad rush to Publix. They're going to buy out everything. There'll be nothing there. And because what happens is the state of Georgia is not prepared for ice and snow. It's not that they can't drive on it. It's just that if there's nobody, there's no salt, there's no cinders, there's no shoveling equipment, no plows. It doesn't really matter what you do. This much ice is still ice. And so everything gets shut down, okay? So if you're here in the winter and you see that, oh, snow's coming or a possibility of snow, I've been here before and they said snow was going to be in 2 days. They closed the school down the day before the snow happened. Because like, look, we want everybody home and settled in. So just know that, all right? Another way you can have a bad time when you're here, I want to tell you this one is, don't compare Georgia and Florida in a way that makes Florida look better. Except if you say, Florida man did this, that's okay, because Georgia man's not quite as crazy as Florida man. But honestly, they do not like the University of Georgia here. And when they have the UGA versus Florida game, it's always a crazy time. But just know that Florida, not really liked here, not really looked up to, let's say, because it's all about UGA, right? Go Dogs. All right, so you have that. And then my last little don't I have for you, and this is one that's specifically for my wife, because this always gets her because we live up in the north, and that is don't confuse the Georgia G with a Green Bay Packers G. Yes, they're like the same thing, but they're different colors. The Georgia G, red and black. Green Bay Packers, green and yellow. And so whenever my wife drives around and she's got the Georgia G on the back, and people ask her, oh, are you a Green Bay Packers fan? She's like, no, it's a Georgia G, black and red. There's no green, there's no yellow. What's wrong with you? So if you want to make sure you keep your Georgia friends happy, remember which G is the Georgia G, all right? So.
And first on my list is low country boil. Low country boil is just potatoes and corn and shrimp and andouille sausage, and it's all boiled up with a whole bunch of Old Bay seasoning. And then you drain it and you dump it out on newspapers or whatever, thrown out on a table, and you eat it with your hands. And that is whether you're wearing Armani or cutoff shorts, it doesn't matter. That's how we eat it in the South. And since we're in Savannah, we're going to have to talk about shrimp because there is a lot of shrimp that comes from Georgia. And it is in all its forms, just like Forrest Gump said. We've got shrimp cakes, we've got fried shrimp, we've got boiled shrimp in all its very many forms. And another wonderful thing that we have in many forms is grits. Grits are not just something that you have for breakfast. You've got cheese grits, you've got eggs on top of your grits, you've got shrimp and grits. So if you find any of those things on a menu, you should absolutely have them because every one will be just a little bit different. Of course, you can't talk about food in Georgia without talking about fried chicken. And some of the best fried chicken places you're ever going to find are these little tiny hole-in-the-wall places where mom and pop are in the back, literally battering up and frying that chicken for you. And those are honestly my best favorite places to have chicken outside of Mama's kitchen. Along with fried chicken, there's chicken and waffles, which is basically just a waffle with fried chicken on top. It's not my favorite thing, but it's definitely something that you have all over the state of Georgia. When you're on the coast, you'll have a lot of oyster roast. Typically, in my experience, we often have them like around New Year's as a big celebratory thing outside. You just get bags and bags full of oysters and they toss them on the fire until they pop. And we all sit there and open them and slurp it up and make our own sauces. You got spicy sauce and not so spicy sauce. But oh my gosh, an oyster roast is a great experience. And man, I've had oyster roast with lots of different types of people all over the place. And every one of them was just a wonderful experience and one that I would hope that anyone that visits Georgia gets the opportunity to have. So obviously you cannot talk about any Southern place or, well, there's barbecue all over the country, but like Georgia barbecue is mainly pork based. Typically the sauce is going to be like ketchup or tomato based kind of sauce. Usually it's pretty sweet. But the bigger thing is just that you have to have pork and not so much beef when you're in Georgia. Kind of like those fried chicken places, the best barbecue joints are the ones on the side of the road that are very unassuming. They kind of look like a dump. That's always the best place where you're going to find barbecue. And honestly, that's not just in Georgia. That's all over the South. You're just going to find the very best pork, that's just been cooked and slow roasted all day, just smoked to perfection. Those are the places, actually follow your nose. When you smell that smoke, you know that they're doing it right. So one of those sides that you're going to find all over Georgia is Brunswick stew. Brunswick stew can vary by person and also by restaurant, but generally speaking, it's made with pork. There's corn, there's onions, there's butter beans. It's all kind of stewed together with some tomatoes and stuff. I mean, it's stew. What else do you want? But it's a great hearty side that you should totally have while you're here. And, sometimes you'll find that it's not just pork. It might be venison or something else. I think that traditionally it was sort of whatever you hunted, that was the meat that went into the stew. And then there's collard greens. Y'all, I love collard greens. Just simmered with a ham hock or maybe some fat back or even oxtail can go in there or pig's tail, But I feel like it really has to have pork in it to be right. But if you're a vegetarian, you can totally find collard greens that don't have pork in it. I'm just not going to say it's quite as good. Another wonderful side is okra. And okra is another one of those things they do in all different forms. You can get it roasted, you can get it baked, you can get it fried, you can get it pickled. I love it pickled and fried. Those are kind of my favorites. And it does get a little slimy inside and those little seeds, you can snap down on them. I don't know, it's a very satisfying feel in your mouth, but I absolutely love okra. And I think that you will too when you're in Georgia. And then, of course, there's mac and cheese. And we're not talking about blue box mac and cheese, although that's just fine and dandy. But mac and cheese here is it is something else. It is like there is care taken when making it. Usually there's a little bit of flour crusted on top, extra cheese baked on it, and the sauce that's in the middle is like several kinds of cheese put together. I have a really great recipe for that I absolutely love that I got while I was living down here in Savannah. And mac and cheese is just constantly on every table all the time. And then there are those staples like deviled eggs, pimento cheese, fried green tomatoes, and all of those can be sides, but they can also be starters. Often we'll go to people's houses and have cocktails and things, and those kind of things will be out, like little things of pimento cheese. And that's just pimentos, a little bit of mayonnaise, and usually like an extra sharp cheddar that's been shredded, and it's all just kind of mixed up. Or you'll have deviled eggs on the side, and you just kind of snack on those while you're having drinks before dinner. When you go get fried green tomatoes, if you're sitting in a restaurant and you see fried green tomatoes that come out and they're really thin, do not get fried green tomatoes there. Fried green tomatoes need to be thick. They need to be lightly coated. And when you bite into them, they should still be a little bit crispy. They should not be all soggy and limp. They should really like hold their own. Those are the very best fried green tomatoes. And yes, they're just tomatoes that have not ripened. It's not a special kind of tomato. It's just an unripe tomato that you slice up nice and thick and batter it a little bit. And some people do flour kind of stuff, and other people do like a cornbread mix, all sorts of different ways to make that too. And then there's, of course, potato salad and red beans and rice. Both are really self-explanatory, and both are on every menu. You can find them at every barbecue joint. You can find them at almost every decent Southern restaurant too. And then we got to talk about the breads. Basically, hoe cakes, cornbread, and biscuits. And they're incredible. They're wonderful things, and we have them all the time at every meal. And biscuits can come at night. They can come during the day. They're all the time. Biscuits are, again, one of those things that are like, have a lot of different forms. You might have them with gravy. You might have them with sausage or with eggs or just some with cheese or maybe with some honey or some butter or like any combination of those things together. So biscuits are like all the time. Another great snack that I really love are boiled peanuts. Boiled peanuts are typically boiled in like maybe some hot sauce or just some hot water. But if you can ever find them made with pot liquor, those are the very best boiled peanuts. Pot liquor is literally just the liquid after you've cooked your collard greens. You just cook all your raw green peanuts in that, add some salt. Maybe not too much because there's usually already a lot from that collard green juice that's in there. Oh my gosh. And as my friend says, it'll make you slap your mama. And then we've got desserts. Pecan pie, of course, obviously, like big gelatinous thing of like sugary goodness with a whole bunch of pecans on top. And there are lots of pecan farms around Georgia, and you'll find it all over the place. Also, of course, peanuts that aren't boiled. There's just, we make a lot of peanuts in this state. And then there are pralines, and they are just sugary goodness with pecans in them. And you'll find all sorts of them. If you are ever able, like if you're not like really in Georgia, but you just happen to stop at the Atlanta airport at Hartsfield-Jackson and you see the Savannah Candy Kitchen, they are known for the pralines. So go in, stop, and get a couple of those before you make your next flight. Another dessert that you'll find all over the place, but also is sometimes just a side, not necessarily a dessert, is banana pudding. And you'll find all different kinds of pudding, of course, but banana pudding is really indicative of Georgia foods. And I love really good banana pudding. And it's kind of hard to find a really excellent one in those fancy restaurants, but it's another one of those things you're going to find in those hole-in-the-wall great fried chicken places or barbecue joints. And I really love to just finish my meal with that, even if it's coming as a side. You just kind of eat that one last because the sugar, right? And then, of course, you can't talk about the peach state without talking about peach cobbler. Also, peach muffins and peach this and peach that, peach ice cream, whatever. All sorts of peach things, but my favorite is peach cobbler. And you'll find all different iterations. Like, some people make it really wet and gooey, and other people like it really dry with huge pieces of, like almost halves of peaches inside with crunchy on top. But wherever you find peach cobbler, I can guarantee you those peaches are probably from Georgia, and they're probably really good and fresh. And then, of course, we'll finish off with the drinks. Obviously, sweet tea is one of them. And, sweet tea should be really good, strong, dark tea that has steeped for a long time, and it's got ridiculous amounts of sugar because that's just what sweet tea is. People come down and they come to Georgia or anywhere in the South and they're like, it's too much sugar. It's not. It's never too much sugar when it comes to sweet tea. It's syrupy almost. And, I love it. And I really miss it when I'm not here. And of course, then there's also Sweetwater beer. And Sweetwater beer you can get all over the country. I get it in Illinois. I've had it in New York. I've had it in Connecticut. Sweetwater beer is really great. And it is made in Atlanta, Georgia. The other drink that is made in Atlanta, Georgia is Coca-Cola, and you can get that literally everywhere in the world. I have had it on every continent in the entire world.
Oddly enough, one of the things you're going to love the most about Savannah actually might be one of your biggest safety issues for injury when you're here, and that is all the cobblestone and brick streets and sidewalks you might encounter when you're here. So do take care, because you're down on River Street, those big cobblestones, you might twist an ankle or two or trip over one of these bricks in the road. So it sounds silly, but pay attention where you're walking just because of your footing when you're going around, because there are some rolling little sidewalks around the town. So do be aware of all that cobblestone, especially if you're on River Street, just to be safe with that. And speaking of River Street, since a lot of tourists like to go down there, just getting down to River Street can actually be quite perilous, because really, you know, the stone stairs of death, it's actually a website that talks about it, because your ways to get down there, one, there are these stone steps to go down, which literally are, you think you're going to fall and die, okay, or you can go with the cars down the really steep kind of twisting big cobblestone road, or you can do that, which I've seen a number of tourists fall over the years. So what I recommend, if you have some mobility issues, go find the big gold dome, you know, go there, and there's actually an elevator that will go down to River Street for you, and that'll make it a little safer for you so you don't fall. Now, I know the first couple were just about walking around and actually just physical movement safety, but honestly, another safety thing you need to realize about Savannah is, even though Savannah has gotten a lot safer over the years, I mean, I've been coming here for over a decade, literally 2 or 3 times a year, and the safety has gotten much better downtown. However, that doesn't mean it's safe all the time everywhere in the city, so you do need to pay attention, have your eyes open. If you're going to be going out late night, whether you're going to River Street or you're going to be walking around to some of the bars, you want to make sure you're going with a group of people, you want to stay where it's well lit, you know, all the big city normal safety things. You want to do that here too as well, because even though this is so great and so beautiful and you're going to wander around and take it all in, you also need to pay attention. So even though things have gotten a bit safer downtown, one thing I really want you to know as a tourist, your car is probably your most vulnerable spot when you come to Savannah. So you do not ever want to leave any valuables in your car, especially if people can see them, because a smash and grab is not unheard of here in Savannah. Actually, we talk to some of the locals, some of them just leave their cars unlocked so people don't break their windows to take stuff out of their car. So do have a heads up for that. Take your valuables, take it into the hotel, take it into your accommodation, your Airbnb, wherever you're staying, because honestly, that's probably one of your more dangerous things. It's just your car's safety when you are here. And another safety thing with the car I think is important is the bike riders here. Now, you'll see this is very much a bike-friendly city. There's bike lanes all over the place, but not everybody follows the bike lanes. And you might see people going the wrong way on a bicycle on a road, and you do need to pay attention, or going the wrong way around the circles, the traffic circles. That can be something. So do be aware of the bikers when you're here. And really a safety thing is when you're going around the squares or you're walking through the squares. As you know, there's tons of beautiful squares here in Savannah. And a lot of people don't realize where the cars are coming from, and they get nailed, okay? So remember, the cars are going around in a counterclockwise motion, and they're coming in from the sides, and you do want to pay attention. If you're driving, if you're on the actual square going around, you have the right of way. If you're entering the square from one of the side roads, you have to wait for the cars to go around. But honestly, the squares is another safety issue that seems silly, but honestly, that's where a lot of tourists have problems, and they have their fender benders that their insurance companies don't like when they travel. Now, another thing you need to realize is when you come here, especially in this summer, if you're coming here in July and August, the heat, the humidity, the sun can be very, 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 very strong. I know the first time I came here was in August. I got out of the airport. I thought I was going to die because I couldn't breathe because all the humidity. I was like, and it was horrible. It was a very scary experience. And if you're not used to that kind of humidity in the summertime, it might be a bit much. But for some people, it's even humidity like in March or April, like, whoa, this is a lot. You want to be aware of that, okay? And the heat as well. You need to stay hydrated when you do come here. And no, it's just not Chatham Artillery Punch or Moon River beer you're going to be having, but keep hydrated with the water when you are here, because you can get dehydrated very quickly with all that heat and the humidity, and you'll be sweating a little bit like dripping. You know, drippy tourists are not unheard of in the summertime. And speaking of drippy tourists, when you're dripping wet from the beach, if you're going to go out to Tybee Island, I do want to give you some advice there. Obviously, the usual sunblock, sun protection when you go to the beach, but there actually are pretty strong rip tides out there. So if you see the flag saying don't go here or don't get in the water, you really need to pay attention to that, because a number of people have died because of the rip tides over the years. So you do want to be safe with that when you're going out there. So just be aware. And I think for my friends with allergies, you need to be ready for the great yellowing that happens And the great yellowing is you will literally see cars covered in yellow pollen during certain times of the year, and it can be really bad. So if you do have allergies, maybe bring that Benadryl, especially if it's big allergy season, or even not, because you never know when it might get you. And that can be a safety issue for people that have asthma or have severe allergies. So do be aware of it, okay? And I think one of the things I want to mention is, this is one thing quite a few of my local friends have told me, is just stay away from the Savannah moniker, because they don't really like that. They're working, they're getting their stuff done, and saying that, oh, it's Savannah, and this kind of gives it a connotation that nothing's going on, it's stuck in a slow period of time, and they don't really like that. So just stick to Savannah, okay? The Hostess City, like, stick with that versus the Savannah thing. And speaking of slow, let's talk about something that really irks the locals, and that is if you hold them up, whether you're on 1695 driving through town, walking on the streets, you think it's not slow for them. They're going to work, they're going home, they're going to get dinner with their friends, and they don't like being slowed down by the tourists. So those left lane drivers on the highway or the roads, move over a bit, okay, on the right side. And if you're going around and you want to take pictures of beautiful homes and architecture here, stand to the side of the sidewalk instead of, you know, right in the middle. And the thing is, I really want to tell you that the driving thing that drives them the most crazy is if you don't know how to drive around these squares. Now, Savannah is filled with beautiful squares you're going to go see, with the Spanish moss dripping down and the monuments in there. And no, the monuments don't line up with the name of the squares, but the locals get really upset because you have to know how to drive around the squares. Because you're going to drive around the squares, what you have to realize is the people that are already on the square, they have the right of way. If you're on one of those side roads coming in, you have to wait for the other people to go, okay, that are already on the circle. And that's where I see a lot of fender benders and a lot of upset locals, because like, tourists need to learn how to drive on the squares. Now, no city likes when people complain, all right? But I think here in Savannah, they take it to another level of how they just want to shake their head and say, bless your heart, to the tourists that come here and complain about the bugs, whether it's the mosquitoes or the palmetto bugs or the sand gnats. I mean, the baseball team used to be called the sand gnats. Like, it's a thing we have here, okay? Bugs are a thing when you're in the South and when you're here in Savannah. And complaining about it, yeah, we all get eaten alive by the mosquitoes when they're here. It's just the way it is, okay? So that'll kind of put people off. But also, if you complain about the heat and the humidity here in Savannah, especially in the summer, I mean, you're in the deep South in the summer. Yes, 100 degrees is normal and 100% humidity is normal. So just be ready for that and just know that they're miserable too. So complaining about it kind of puts people off. And one thing you need to realize is people from Savannah want you to have a good time when they're here, because they're very proud of their city, hence why complaining doesn't go over well. But I think one thing is they'll kind of feel bad about you if you don't expand your palette past some of the more tourist popular places. Like if you're only going to Mothers and Sons and Mrs. Wilkes and eating on River Street, they're going to feel sorry for you that you didn't explore more. Like hit up Cotton and Rye. Heck, just go down Broughton and go in 45 Bistro for their carpaccio. Do something else besides the tourist famous spots, because there's so many great restaurants here. And no, it doesn't really annoy them. It just makes them feel so sad for you. And you don't want the locals to feel sad for you. Go explore the food when you're here. Now, when you travel to places, sometimes you already have friends that are there. A lot of people live in Savannah or have a vacation homes here. Maybe they're one of the bases. And sometimes when we go places, we ask our friends to join us in some of the tourist activities. And there's one tourist activity that you're pretty much guaranteed to upset a local when you come here. And that's if you ask them to go to Leopold's Ice Cream on Broughton. Because the reason is, one, it's not that great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love their hot cocoa ice cream. Like, that's really good. But the line that comes with it, especially on the weekends or tourist times it's here. I mean, we're talking out the door, down the street, in 100-degree weather with 100% humidity with no shade. No one likes that. And the locals are like, nah, man, you go all by yourself. So that's one thing, is just having them go with you to Leopold's Ice Cream. If you want to try it, get it at the airport. There's like a little kiosk there that has some of their best ones. I like Savannah Socialite. It's great, but yeah, your local friends will be like, oh no, I don't want to go there with that line. Ugh. So do be aware of that. Another thing I think is important that will upset the locals here is if you forget your manners. I mean, it's not just please and thank you, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. It's also, if you're going to the store, you do talk to the person that's bagging your groceries. Your Uber driver, you do chat up with when you're here, you know, and just proper manners and friendliness is something they really kind of expect here. And if you're one of these quiet, I don't talk to anybody when I'm anywhere, they're not going to like you, okay? So that might be why you might experience some of that Savannah I talked about before, because you're not showing your manners. You're showing your ugly side, as they might say here. Now, another little thing that tourists love to do, but locals get really annoyed with, are those like bike not the pedicab things, but you know, the bike bars where you sit on the bike and you're drinking going around town. That kind of irks the locals a little bit when you are here. So don't think the locals will be waving at you very nicely. It'll be other tourists that are waving at you when you're doing that. But that's one thing that anybody who works downtown is like, oh, get out of the way, all right? Now, another line you could say that could upset the locals very quickly is you tell them, hey, all the food in Savannah is fried. And let me tell you, there's some locals right now that are clenching their teeth and their fists going, that is not true. You have so much great food here for all kinds of options, from vegan and vegetarian to seafood, all kinds of stuff. It's not all just fried in a batch of butter and a big old bowl of butter. No, I mean, I know Paula Deen kind of influenced the idea of Savannah cooking and it's all butter and it's all fried, but that's not the case. The locals here know that, so ask them where to go out to eat, because remember, they don't want you just going to some of the tourist spots. They want you to try out some of the good local food too that won't always be fried. Now, if you want to be a true Savannah when you're here, another thing you got to realize is traffic here can be a bit annoying. If you're on one of the busier streets, you want to let people in, and you'll see the locals will let you in occasionally, but make sure you always give them some indication of thank you, whether it's, you know, a wave, just a finger, this finger, not the other finger, you know, off your thing, just to give some kind of recognition that they let you in, because that's going to that manners kind of thing here, and you'll see that it goes a long way if you have the smile, the thank yous. People are like, cool, come on in, but if you don't be surprised you look in that rearview mirror and you get some death stares, okay? Now, if you're going to be going out to Tybee Island, that's where the beaches are near Savannah, one thing I want to tell you is if you park in one of the reserved spots for the locals out there, they will not be happy. And what's crazy is they won't be happy. They'll pick up a phone call and within 5 minutes, your car will be gone. I mean, there's a whole towing industry out there that thrives and just flourishes because the tourists park where they're not supposed to, okay? So you're gonna upset the locals, and then you're gonna be upset yourself because you got towed, and you don't want that to happen. So remember to look at the signs when you are parking to make sure you can park there, because otherwise you might have some problems. And my last thing that will annoy the locals is when you go out to eat and you get upset when you order tea and it's sweet tea. I mean, look, we're in the South, we're in Savannah, like this is sweet tea world, and here you have to ask for unsweet tea because the de facto tea is sweet tea. I mean, yeah, you can order sweet tea or just tea, it's gonna be sweet, so just remember that, because I've seen a number of tourists have gotten off these little trolleys here and been upset because I didn't want sweet tea, I just wanted normal tea. I'm like, look, then you need to order unsweet tea. That's a thing here, all right? So sweet tea is the de facto kind, all right? So don't get upset by it because the locals be like, oh, whatever, how didn't you know that? Now, the first thing you want to know when you do is, what are you going to do here? Well, obviously, you're going to go to the beach. You come here for the beach, and there's lots of beaches. You got the South Beach, you got North Beach, you got the backside, the back river. You can go to the beach there. There are lots of options. On the main beach, which is cool, is there's tons of space. And if you want to get your beach accoutrement, yes, you can bring it with you from home. And what's cool, there's places that will rent you a beach chair, but if you want to get your own, there are plenty of like those beach places that sell towels and chairs and volleyballs and Tybee t-shirts and things like that. We actually always do our shopping at Christie's, which is right here on the beach. That's where you can get your the Tybee Island t-shirts and stickers and things like that. So there's all kinds of great things. On the beach, what's cool is actually you can see dolphins swimming by, so make sure you watch pelicans flying by, all kinds of cool stuff. Yesterday we got to see ranger training where the helicopters were flying by and dropping people off. It's pretty cool, and there's little kids that can do stuff and funny crazy people. So there's all kinds. It's like a really good family-based location. Now there are some rules when you do go to the beach. Now you really need to follow the flags. If it's green, you're fine, yellow, warning, because there can be these really strong rip tides that do take people out. If you go farther down the beach where one of the estuaries kind of comes into the ocean, that can be some really strong tides, and that's where if there's any drownings, that's where it usually happens. So be careful really, really far south down there. That's why we usually take, when our kids were really little, we took them to actually the back beach, and took them there because it was a lot safer, a lot calmer, less people, so it was a little bit more relaxing for the parents, okay? Some cool things you can do when you actually are on the beach. Remember, there's dolphins swimming by. I mean, we saw them, they were like 50 yards out yesterday. It was really cool. We had the rangers flying by and doing ranger training because there's some bases around here. It's just a really cool, relaxing thing. And the thing is, if you're going to go to the beach, the sand gets very hot, okay? And so you want to make sure you bring your beach towel or a beach chair, something like that. If you don't have any, it's okay. There are tons of shops around here that sell them. When you're on the beach, what is nice is you can drink on the beach, but no glass. If you have glass and the cops or the lifeguards catch you, you're going to get fined, and they will open up your cooler to look because you cannot have glass. So canned beer, okay, just so you know, it's drinking beer and sitting on the beach. I mean, our friends, they'll tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things you have to do here is sit on the beach and drink beer, okay? I mean, take Jackie's word for it, all right? Anyway, another thing, you see these sand dunes? Yeah, you see we got these sand kids here. So boys, you know, the sand, can we play on the sand dunes?
What?
The sand dunes, these things here. No, you can't. Even they know, because you can get a huge fine. I mean, I saw a sign, $1,000 fine if you play on the sand dunes, okay? Because there's sea turtles that are here, and sometimes they lay their eggs in there, so it's protected. So do not play on the sand dunes, okay? Because they will fine you, so be careful. But the thing is, they have lots of walkways and stuff to get you onto the beach. It's no problem. So that's the first thing. Go to the beach and enjoy it. You will have a good time. Now with the beaches, make sure you do pay attention to the flag, green and yellow and all these things. You got to be careful, because if you got little guys like these, that rip current can really pull them out really quick. You really need to pay attention to that. Yesterday, Caleb was going out a little too far. I'm like, hey, come in, man, because you'll see is sometimes the tides come in really fast and go out really fast, and it can be a little bit dangerous. So make sure you're watching those flags, and they'll have them up. There's the lifeguard stands around, so you'll be okay. There are a lot of other things to do here aside go to the beach. I mean, Tybee a good party place. I mean, you come here, you get your frozen drinks in a styrofoam cup or a plastic cup, and you're drinking it all over town. And it is really nice, just chillaxing kind of place. And the thing is, you can go and drink, you can eat here really well, but the thing is, you can go out and you can go fishing, you can rent a charter boat and go fishing. There's dolphin tours that go out there and show you the dolphins and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of other options out there. One of the more fun things that I see families doing here, and we've done before, is renting a beach cruiser. Go rent a bike. There's plenty of stores that will rent bikes to you and just ride around. And it's like having this big old bike, and of course it has a little beer koozie to hold your beer or your mixed drink or your soda, of course, your cold water, okay? They have those, and that's another kind of fun thing to do when you're here. If you're looking for history, literally you can get to historic Savannah in 15-20 minutes with all the great history stuff there. But we've got videos on Savannah to tell you about that. On your way back though, you can visit Fort Pulaski if you want. That's kind of close by, so there are those things. Now also, when you're here, what are you gonna eat? Now I know we're in the South in Georgia, and so you wanna eat Southern food. But the thing is, here on Tybee, you don't do Southern food, okay? Here you eat seafood. You have crab cakes, and you have fish, and you have shrimp, and you have, you know, scallops and all oysters. Oh my God, get oysters when you're here. I mean, it is really good. And there's all kinds of great places to eat. We'll go to AJ's a lot and eat there. That's one on the back river. That's a nice little place to go. But there's a lot of seafood places around here to eat. Yes, you can go to the very touristy Crab Shack, which a lot of people like to go to, and I've had many friends that work there that love working there, and it is very touristy, but it is kind of a fun place to go. But there are a lot of seafood places around. North Beach Grill, good food, good drinks right on the ocean. And when you're going to have drinks, okay, you got Tybee Times and tons of bars to go get your drinks at and all kinds of stuff. But there's a lot of food options when you're around here. Now the thing is, if you're going to stay here, there are hotels, but I recommend either renting a bungalow, like a little house, or renting an apartment, because if you do that, then you can go to the IGA or to the store and bring your own food in and save a lot of money that way. But the seafood here is so good that you probably won't want to cook out. You'll want to go to the restaurants, but it is an option out there. And the thing is, the hotels are fine, the houses are fine. I just prefer renting the house here. The prices for the hotel versus the house, pretty comparable, and if you got a family of 4 or more, it actually kind of pays off to have having a hotel, or no, sorry, to have an apartment or to have a house out there, just to give you that space. So that's something that we recommend you do. Now the next thing you want to think about is, how do I get around? How do I get here? Well, when you're coming in, you're going to go through Savannah, and you come in 80 right into town. It's very easy to drive into. One thing I will say is parking. If you are going to rent a house, make sure it has parking included, because if it doesn't, you're going to have a problem, okay? Parking is tough, and when you go to the beach, you can pay with your credit card, Visa or MasterCard only, at least when we're here. And when you pay, it gives you automatically 2 hours, but most likely you're gonna spend 3 or 4 hours, so pay right away so you don't have to hike back up here, because let me tell you, that parking enforcement, they're on top of things. I mean, you're 10 minutes late, they're gonna nail you. And you'll see their trucks going around. I've actually seen 2 go by while I've been filming this. So make sure you do pay for the parking, because they will get you. If you're gonna go to the back river, one of the bad things about the back river is finding parking back there. Sometimes that's a little tough because they have smaller parking lots. And even here on the front beaches, it can be a bit tough on the busy days. So if you're gonna be having an apartment or a house, just leave your car there and you can walk. And you can walk most anywhere really on Tybee, or just get the bike to ride around, because it is easy to get around.
Hey, I'm Jocelyn. I am in Savannah, and we have open container laws in Savannah, but there are rules. So, 1, must be in plastic. You cannot go out with glass things. That's okay. When you leave a bar and you have a glass, don't think you have to chug it. Just grab a go glass. They have to-go glasses stocked by the door sometimes. Sometimes the bartender, especially if they're like really good bartenders, they'll just up and hand you one because they know you're heading out and they don't want you to get in trouble, right? Also, it has to be 16 ounces or less. 3rd, no double fisting. So when your friend's like, hey, hold my beer, you can't actually hold their beer. Have them set it on the ground or whatever. No double fisting, 16 ounces, and in plastic. Enjoy your cocktails in Savannah.
The first thing you would probably like to do is go swimming with your friends at the Tybee Beach on Tybee Island. Number 2 is going to the parks and the squares around town. The Forsyth Park is the biggest park. The 3rd thing you're gonna want to do is go to the pirate's house. They're really crazy, so don't get shanghaied. The 4th thing you're gonna want to do is go on a trolley and see all of the fun things. The 5th thing you're gonna want to do is go see the go to the ghost tours. They're really scary, so don't let your littler kids, like a 2-year-old, go to the ghost tours. The 6th thing you're gonna want to do is go to the Roundhouse Museum and the Children's Museum, and they're both right behind me.
So a few other things that parents might want to take their kids to in Savannah. Number 1 is the Juliette Gordon Low House, the birthplace of the Girl Scouts. Whether you have girls or boys, it's a pretty cool place to go and see. The Ships of the Sea Museum, which is just down the road from the Roundhouse, is a really fun place for kids to go and check out all sorts of stuff, especially little boys love it. And then another thing that we like to do is we go to the Oatland Island Wildlife Refuge. It's Savannah's sort of zoo, but it's all the animals are set in their own natural habitat, and it's a really fun thing, and they have tons of great activities and stuff. You just have to look up their website and see what it is they have that day. But by far, our favorite is always the Roundhouse and the Savannah Children's Museum. They are awesome places to be.
1, B&D's Burgers. It has some good burgers. 2, Wiley's good barbecue. Real good barbecue. Boiled peanuts.
I love boiled peanuts.
Self-explanatory. Deliciousness. Leopold's ice cream. It has some weird ice creams. Like, I had pumpkin spice ones. And for the last one, the 5th one, it would most likely to be anything biscuit. It's the South. It's the South. It will have good biscuits.
There's 3 really traditional Savannah foods that tourists miss out on when they come to Savannah. And the thing is, it's not something that people want you to have. It's not something that usually shows up in a lot of restaurants, okay? And the first thing I want you to tell you about is a low country boil. Now, some restaurants will have it and they'll be like, oh, it's got shrimp and some corn and potatoes and sausage, yeah. But the thing is, when you're here in Savannah, that's not how you eat it. You don't eat it at the restaurant. What you do is you have a low country boil with all of your friends coming over. You have the big pot and you put in the potatoes in there and the corn goes in there and the sausage go in there and the end you have the shrimp, the spices, all this kind of stuff, and it cooks up. When you finish it, you literally like drain the water out and then you put down newspaper on a table, like a kitchen table or a picnic table, and you literally go out with your friends and you just dump it out on the table on the newspaper and you share it with your friends. It's one of the greatest ways to really enjoy times with friends here in Savannah is to have a low country boil. And if you're just gonna be staying here, you can do it, you know, at your apartment rental or at your home rental or your vacation rental. You can do it to have the experience, because honestly, a true low country boil is really a true Savannah thing. Yes, you'll see like versions of it at some restaurants, but honestly, having it and do it when you're here, you're gonna love it. Also, down below there's a link for Jocelyn. She has her own recipe for making it, and she did that on Tybee Island, okay? Now the second thing you might miss out on when you come here is actually hot boiled peanuts. Yes, try not to say that and laugh, okay? Hot boiled peanuts is really a thing here in Georgia and in the South, but if you're not from the South, you might not know about hot boiled peanuts. And what it is, it's exactly what it sounds like. They put peanuts in the shell in boiling water and some spices in there, and then they cook it up and they boil it, and it softens the shell, it softens the peanuts inside, and you eat them. And the first time I had it, I had no idea what to do. I walked into the Kroger and they gave me a styrofoam cup with all these wet peanuts. I'm like, what's this? Like, oh, you eat them. So I took the whole thing, shut it in my mouth. I did like, no! You put it in your mouth, kind of chew on it to pop the shell open, and then you eat the peanuts from inside and kind of suck the juices off the shell, and then you throw away the shell. But this is one of those things, if you're at a gas station or a bait shop, they will have it there, especially in the summertime, and you want to have it, okay? Those hot boiled peanuts are very much a thing, but it's not something you see on Broughton or River Street very often, okay? So that's one thing. If you're out and about and you see it, definitely get it. And then the third thing, if you're here around New Year's or in the winter time, if you can go to an oyster roast. And the thing is, this is one of those things the locals will do. They'll go out to Tybee, they'll go out to the islands, and they'll have all these roasts, have a fire going, and they'll have the big sacks of oysters out there, and people just cook up those oysters, roast them up with their friends, having some drinks, celebrating the new year, or just enjoying times with friends. And enjoying those oyster roasts is really a thing to do. But again, if you don't have friends from here, you don't even know about it. You don't even know how to do it, or where are you going to get a big place to put the fire and all the stuff to do it? It's not something that tourists usually get to do, but if you get a chance to go to an oyster roast when you're here in Savannah, you should do it, okay? But those are really 3 things, I think, after years of coming to Savannah, and Jocelyn lived here for 10 years before that. Our oldest son was born here. Like, this is a place that's near and dear to our hearts, but those are 3 things that I've seen over the years that tourists really miss out on when they come here to Savannah, because we all know about the fantastic food, from the shrimp and grits to the fantastic southern food, I mean, just there's so much good food here, but sometimes we miss those 3 things. So if you get a chance when you're here in Savannah, don't pass up a low country boil, you know, with friends. Go in to get yourself some hot boiled peanuts at a gas station or at some of the markets or whatever. Or if you get invited to go to an oyster roast, definitely go. All right, so before you even go through security, there's some options here, and I think the most important option is Leopold's Ice Cream. You know that long line you saw on Broughton Street? Yeah, you can actually get it here. They have it here, but they also have it inside past security, so you can have it once here, then once inside, to compare which one's better for you. If you want some Savannah snacks or like your usual like candies and stuff to throw in your bag, there's actually the Savannah Square Marketplace right over there. You can do that, but remember, can't take liquids through security. So that's why your other option is Starbucks here, so you get your coffee, but you gotta slam it down, but you get some snacks there too. So that's what you have even before you go through gate security. So we've come through security, and your first place to eat, you have Auntie Anne's, one of Liam's favorite places, where you get your pretzels, you know, your pretzel bites, pretzel dogs, you have that. Right next to you have Uno Express, which is just pizza, so you get a nice little pizza there if you want. Now moving down, because we're across from gate 4 with Auntie Anne's and Uno's, there's the Great American Bagel and Panini Company. You can go in there. This is actually one of the places you can get bagels in the morning. If you have an early flight, one of your options to actually get food in the morning. So that's something that Liam really enjoys. If you just want to get snacks and stuff and you didn't want to eat, you know, get your things before you came through security, there's the Factors Row Mercantile. You can go in there and get some Georgia snacks if you want. And if you want old-fashioned fast food stuff, right by 4 is Burger King. So you can get your Whopper before you fly. Though, I don't know if you want to do Whoppers before you fly. The bathroom's a little small on some of the planes that fly out of here. Oddly enough, next to Burger King, there's the restrooms there. But across from the restrooms, actually, before you get to 5 through 15, they do have a little vending machine here. If you want to get some drinks, you have some options here where they'll sell you some stuff. You can do that. Just put your credit card through, swipe it, you'll take care of it. So now we're walking down to see other things here. Now, there are some places where you can get buy seat and some drinks, but you can't drink all the stuff that you get when you're in the airport. For example, Salt Table, all local. They have wines in there, they have drinks in there that you can buy to take home with you. One thing you have to remember, for safety purposes, on the airlines, you cannot drink alcohol you bring onto the plane. So make sure you don't buy the stuff you buy here, don't open up on your plate, okay? But you can pick something up for after the flight. So right in front of 8 or 7 gate, whichever you prefer, there's a little bar you can get up on. I mean, it's just drinks, but hey, sometimes you need a little liquid courage to get on that plane sometimes.
Okay, so here's the little Leopold's kiosk, and this is a great place to just grab and go. I feel like it always has a shorter line, and it's certainly shorter than the one downtown. This is across from Gate 9. I recommend Savannah Socialite. They always have that one. Everything else seems to change though. So the PGA Tour Grill is kind of the most food that you can get, where you can actually like sit down and like have a meal. It's not super fast food. So if you need like to order off a menu and sit and relax, this is sort of your place to do it. So we're here at the PGA Grill and we ordered chicken wings and 2 drinks. And guess what? It is taking a long time. They are obviously understaffed right now. So if you have an hour or less, I would not suggest eating here. And right across from this is Starbucks, and it is always ridiculously long line. It's like as if though you can't get coffee anywhere else. And then on the other side is the Hilton Head gift shop, and they've got some like local things and stuff, but it's your typical run-of-the-mill airport gift shop necessities kind of place. So for you moms, the nursing room is at gate 12 if you need a quiet place to nurse your baby.
If you're looking for food at the lounge, the Passport Club is actually by gate 11. It's also by, as Jocelyn let you know, the Nursing Mothers thing, and across from the PGA Tour thing. So here are 10 things you need to know to enjoy St. Patrick's Day in Savannah a little bit more. Now the first thing you should know is some of the statistics. Okay, one thing guys, in 2012 over 1 million people came to Savannah to celebrate. This city was packed. Savannah's a town of 250,000 people, and there was 1 million visitors in town just to enjoy the festivities. And the festivities are all over the place. Now, 1 million visitors, and there was 15,000 people participating in the parades. So guys, this is a great time with lots and lots of people. So that's the first thing you need to know. Second thing you need to know is if you're going to be coming down to the parade, make sure you get downtown early. Now, what they do is they have a parade route, and you can actually be on the squares and set up a tent and put tables there and stuff like that, but you have to get there early in the morning to reserve your spot. Now you can't actually get into the square until 6 a.m., but people are there at 2 in the morning waiting with their tables and their tents. I was there at 3:30 this morning. Well, 3:30 on St. Patrick's Day, waiting to get in there. At 6 o'clock, the park's open. You can put all your stuff there, get in there, and have a great, start having a good time. But it gets a little tense there as people are fighting for position in the parks. Okay, so make sure you get there early if you're going to have a seat in the squares. If you're going to be just walking along the parade route, you'll be fine. You can see from all over. You'll be fine. But just in case you want to get a spot in the squares, you're gonna have to be there nice and early. Another thing you need to do early is book your hotels early. The city has lots of hotels, but they do book out very quickly for St. Patrick's Day. And guys, if you are staying at a hotel, they probably will have some extra rules during St. Patrick's because there's so many people in town. Remember, 1 million people are here, and they're going to be asking for wristbands. Maybe they'll have a wristband for you to make sure you can come in and go when you want or whatever. So make sure you pay attention to the concierge. Has everybody signed in so they can come in and out, because they do sometimes limit who can actually come into the hotels. Okay. Now, fourth thing, we're going back to the parade route. Now, if you're going to be drinking, which you will be, because it's St. Patrick's Day in Savannah, if you're going to be drinking, make sure you know where one of the public toilets are, because the hotels and restaurants will literally close their doors to non-guests using the restroom. So make sure you keep an eye out for a toilet. And they will get kind of nasty during the day, so try to get all your pee done early so that by the time in the afternoon you're okay. All right? Now, the fifth thing you should know is, when does the parade actually start? Because I'm saying, I was there at 3:30 in the morning to get my spot in a park. Then we got to put up the stuff at 6, then people show up about 9:30. The actual parade starts at about 10:15. Okay, so 10:30, you'll see stuff going around, people going around. And the parade, I mean, there's soldiers that hike through or that march through. There's, children's groups. There's the Girl Scouts because they're from here. They have normal parade floats like you used to see. There's all kinds of stuff, and it goes all throughout the day. if you need to get some little cool, green stuff for St. Patrick's Day, there's people pushing that stuff around. But the actual parade starts at 10:15. Okay? Now, if you're going to be coming down to the parade, the sixth thing you need to know is parking is a nightmare for St. Pat's, guys. I mean, you're going to be parking far, far away. So that's another reason to get there early so you can find a parking spot so you can walk. My wife and kids, they came later to see me since I was there from 3:30 in the morning until I got dragged out about 2 o'clock. Anyway, but the thing is, we had to walk about 45 minutes to get to our parking spots, so just be prepared. And if you're staying in hotels usually only give you one parking spot. So if you got multiple people staying in the hotel, just make sure hey, one of your cars is going to be able to be parked right there. So parking is a nightmare. Seventh thing about it is, guys, the parade is in the morning, okay, and it starts early and people are celebrating early, but the parade stops at about 12 or 2 o'clock, depending on how many people go through. Probably 2 o'clock's a good one, but the party goes all day, okay? So think, parade in the morning, party all afternoon, and they have all kinds of good stuff going on. There's parades, there's impromptu parades, there's concerts, all kinds of stuff. Okay. The eighth thing you need to know, and this is more of a legal standpoint. Now, Savannah is one of the few cities in the United States where you can actually walk around with open liquor in the streets. Now, the thing is, many people think that is for any kind of liquor or any kind of container. It's not like that. This is very important because you will get fined. You can get a $400 or $500 fine for having liquor on the streets, even though they say it's legal. So what you need to know is, you have to have your beer or drinks in a plastic cup, 16 ounces or less in size. So if my European friends, that's half liter or less, because half liter, we couldn't have any more than that. Half liter or 16 ounces of alcohol or less in a plastic cup. So you cannot have a plastic bottle, you cannot have a glass bottle or a can of beer or anything like that, because the cops are here from all over and they will ticket you. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to that. But you can walk around with a big old, 16-ounce beer and have a good time with that. So you'll be fine. Okay, the ninth thing you need to know about when you come to Savannah for St. Pat's is the eating. Guys, the restaurants will be booked up, and if you're thinking Savannah, we're known for great food, and the city has amazing restaurants. During St. Pat's, there's so many people here, you will be waiting in line for an hour and a half, or whatever, if you're trying to go to a nicer place. So sometimes, limit your Savannah cuisine that day. Maybe get easier things so you're at a bar, get some corned beef and cabbage or whatever. Go that route versus the fancier restaurants, because you could be waiting a very long time. And you got the lines for the food and drinks, gotta sometimes take a while. Okay, and the 10th thing you need to know is, guys, just enjoy the city, enjoy the time, because literally the city gets crazy. The fountain behind me at Forsyth Park, they turn the fountains green, and I'm not just talking the big ones, I'm talking little tiny ones. Okay. Let's go. Okay, around town, all fountains green. Don't jump in them, you'll get in trouble. Okay, so don't jump in the fountains, but all the fountains turn green. Everybody is celebrating from the youngest to the oldest. There's little kids parades, there's concert for adults, there's concert for kids, there's concert for, crazy people. There's all kinds of great stuff going on, and you're going to have a lot of fun when you're in Savannah for St. Pat's. So those are my tips for you guys when you're heading to Savannah for St. Pat's. Whatever year you come, it is a great time. The city really gets involved. One of the biggest St. Pat's festivals or parades in the United States, and the city is just a great old time. And here in March, it's 80 degrees in March, so it's like summer. Because look, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and it's 2 days after St. Patrick's Day. So have a great time with St. Pat's in Savannah. Now, the first thing, I always like to get the bad news out of the way first, so you're not thinking, oh, Mark just says happy, fun stuff. No, it's best to get the out of the way. So the first thing you're going to hate about Savannah are the bugs. Guys, whether it's mosquitoes or fleas or sand gnats, heck, the baseball team here is called the sand gnats. They do have a lot of bugs here, so be prepared. And the one you need to be the most prepared for, which I swear if you see one you will freak out, is the palmetto bug. Okay, you guys know what a roach is? Now imagine a roach that can fly and wants to dive out of the trees and attack you. Yes, that is a palmetto bug, guys. It's not a flying roach, it's a palmetto bug. So be prepared, okay? You're going to freak out, you're going to hate all the bugs, but that's one you're going to hate the most, alright? That's the first thing you're going to hate about Savannah, the bug. Second thing you're going to hate about Savannah is more kind of a hindrance to your party lifestyle on vacation if you're here on a Sunday. And that is, you cannot buy alcohol in the stores on Sunday.
All right, so if you're doing a short-term rental, which a lot of people do, make sure you stock up on Saturday, because Sunday none of the stores, none of the shops will sell you any alcohol. Okay, they'll have it there, but you can't buy it. And if you want to go have a drink or anything like that, make sure you go someplace that has food, because they can be open. So you can't actually buy it, but only at a restaurant or a bar that's open on Sunday. Okay, so that's the second thing you're going to hate about here. The third thing you're going to hate about Savannah is it's expensive. Here in the Historic Center, to go out to eat, to go out to drink, well, drinking you can find a lot of deals, which is one thing I'm going to talk about in a second. Okay, but it is expensive to go out and eat and drink here in Savannah, to stay in Savannah, especially in the Historic Center. If you go out farther, you go out to Tybee and other places, you can save on some money, but it's Savannah, this Historic Center is amazing, this is where you want to stay. But you got to pay for it, alright? So it will be expensive, it's not a cheap stay, okay? Now, the fourth thing you're going to hate about Savannah is the crime. I'm not going to lie to you, for a town of, 250,000 people, it has crime of a town a lot larger. And you, as a tourist, need to be prepared for that. Now, most likely, you're not going to deal with any of these problems. However, that means for you, if you're walking around the Historic Center at night, there's certain parts you might want to watch out for. Also, in terms of your car, make sure everything is put away. Do not leave out your cords, your DVDs, or your whatever that your kids have. Pack it all up and bring it in your hotel, okay? We stay here in the center, we bring everything in, and I mean everything in. There's not even the maps down, all right? I might be a little overprotective, but crime is kind of a problem here in Savannah, so you want to watch out for it, okay? And then the fifth thing you're going to hate about Savannah, which I'll come back later on things you'll love about Savannah, is the weather. Now, you may say, Mark, it's warm and sunny all the time there. What's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that, except July and August, where it's about 100 degrees, or about 39 Celsius, and there's 100% humidity, and you literally walk out of the airport and the air hits you and you can't breathe. That happened to me last year when I came here. I walked out and I'm like, because it's so hot and humid. July and August are just horrible for the weather here because it's so hot and humid. Now, it's not every day, it's not like that, but that's when you have the worst of the hot weather. Okay? Now, those are the things you're going to hate about Savannah. 1, the bugs. 2, the no alcohol on Sunday. Number 3 is the expensive eating out and stuff in the center. 4, the crime. And 5, the weather in July and August, let's say. All right? Now, what are the things you're going to love about Savannah? Because, guys, believe me, these are 5 little things you can definitely live with when you're here in terms of hate. But love, there's so many things you're going to love about here. The first thing is the architecture. I don't know if you can see it through the trees and stuff behind me, but that's the Davenport House. That's the first house that became, well, it started the preservation, I call it revolution, here, as the guy goes by. Historic revolution of preservation here in Savannah. Guys, the architecture here, that's number 1, the architecture, because these houses, they have so many relatively strict rules here in town about keeping up historic buildings. But the thing is, it leaves this town with this magnificent, genteel feeling. You walk around and see these buildings, and you really feel like you're walking around in 1850, 1860s. I mean, it is amazing. The Davenport House, Mercer House, the Low House, there's all kinds of them out there that you can go see. There's lots of museums, like lots of house museums and tourists will go through. I recommend this Davenport one behind me. Okay, guys, just the architecture going through is amazing. Also, with architecture, guys, there's a university here that's an art and design college. They have a historical preservation degree. So their students are out here helping preserve this. Okay, and this is one of the, the architecture here really makes this city amazing. Okay, so you're going to love the architecture. 2, the food. Guys, this is the home of Mrs. Wilkes and Paula Dane, okay? Cook everything with lots of butter. Guys, from low country boils to catfish BLTs to sweet potato fries, the food here in Savannah is amazing. And you will eat and eat and eat here. And you'll say, no, I'm going to do better this time. You're not going to. You're going to eat a lot. And you're going to love every bite of it. So enjoy eating here because the food in Savannah is to die for. Third thing you're going to love about Savannah are the people. Guys, these people are amazing here in Savannah. I love it, okay? My wife is from here. She lived here for 8 years. I come back, and the people, I saw them once 3 years ago. They still remember and still talk to me, whether it's at the store in Piggly Wiggly or at a bar or just walking down the street. The people here are amazing. They're helpful. They're friendly. Just that southern hospitality that you're really going to love. And that's one of the reasons why I love Savannah. 4. Well, I know I said I hated the weather in July and August. Well, the other 10 months of the year, you're going to love the weather. Guys, you can go play golf in February in shorts here. It's always nice weather. It never gets cold. Okay, yes, I said July and August suck, but the rest, it's amazing. Come enjoy it in off season. If you don't have any kids, it's great. That's why a lot of people make Savannah their retirement homes, because we have a really kind of a eclectic population here. You have students from an art college and a lot of retirees, and then the Old South people, and it really makes a great kind of got a mix. But a lot of it's because of the weather. They all come down here. And all that together brings us to number 5 of things you're going to love about Savannah, and that's the atmosphere. Whether it's the Spanish moss hanging from the trees, or these amazing architectural buildings, or historic buildings, or the southern charm and everything about this town, there's this je ne sais quoi, I don't know, about this town that really gives it, the atmosphere just makes you want to be here, makes you want to relax and chill out. I mean, it's a great town. And the people and everything make it amazing. This atmosphere here is one of the things you're going to love. So let's go through the 5 things you're going to love and hate. First thing, the 5 things you're going to hate about Savannah. 1, the bugs. 2, the no alcohol on Sunday at the stores. 3, it is expensive to eat out, okay? 4, the crime. 5, the weather in July and August you're going to hate. So those are your 5 hates. 5 things you're going to love about Savannah. 1, you're going to love the architecture, all the historical preservation, those things. 2, the food. Believe me, you're going to go home a few pounds more. 3, the people. They are so wonderful here. 4, the weather, the other 10 months out of the year. And number 5, things you're going to love is the atmosphere of this town. You want to head down to River Street, okay? Obviously, it's on the river. There's all kinds of bars and restaurants there. It's a really fun time during the day. At night, you might want to be a little bit more careful about it, but if you want to have a drink during the day or go eat, it's a nice place to check out, okay? Also, that's where you're going to get your riverboat tours, going down, seeing, Old Fort Jackson, stuff like that, all right? So that's one thing. Second thing is you want to take one of the trolley tours. Okay, you go to the Savannah, the Tourist Information Office, and all over town they sell tickets for these trolley tours. They go all around the town, telling you all about the history, the historic buildings, the stories, the ghost stories, all kinds of cool stuff about the city. And you may say, oh, I don't want to do a tour of the town. Believe me, it's going to be your best investment, because when you walk around this town, there's so much to see that you're going to ask, well, what's this building? What's this building? And the tours do a great job of telling you everything you want to know. And there's not just, architectural tours. There's food tours, there's ghost tours, there's all kinds of really fun stuff. There's even pub tours. Like I said, this is a fun town, so make sure you do one of the tours while you're here. Third thing you want to check out when you're in Savannah. I'm in Wright Square. It's one of the 21 of the original 24 squares they have in this town. Because you walk around the historic district in Savannah, there's squares everywhere to chill out, have lunch, have a cigarette and relax, all kinds of good stuff. And everyone comes and does it. It's really nice, okay? And then they have monuments, and there's the Spanish moss, and all kinds of really cool stuff. Also, you ever saw Forrest Gump? They filmed when he sits on his little park bench. They filmed that here in Savannah in one of the squares. Really, really nice stuff to check out. Walk around and see those, okay? Now, if you want something a little bit bigger than a square, like if you have kids with you here, you want to take them to a park, the fourth thing you should see is Forsyth Park. There's some monuments in there, there's some old embattlements, all kinds of nice stuff, but there's plenty of areas to play, have a picnic, relax. And what's crazy is that St. Patrick's Day, it's actually the second or third largest St. Patrick's Day festival in the entire U.S. They dye the fountains green there, so you can go swimming in green fountains. It's really kind of cool, all right? Now, next thing, let's go into more of the historical stuff you want to see when you're in Savannah, because that's one of the reasons why you want to come here. I mean, this is the very first colony in Georgia, so there's been, I know the U.S. isn't too old, but it's one of the older things we've got here, all right? So some of the historical homes are one of the things you want to see. Okay, the first one I want to talk about is the Davenport House. This is the house that started the historical preservation movement in Savannah. The city was kind of falling apart. You see, people put their money together about 30, 40 years ago and rebuilt the Davenport House. It is amazing. There's wonderful tours you can go through, very insightful guides, all period pieces, all originally from there. It is truly amazing. And there's lots of houses that have this. Okay, another one, which all you little girls and girls that have grown up might know this name, the Juliette Gordon Low House. She's the one who started the Girl Scouts. Her home, this is where she grew up. And there's a nice house museum there, and also a little Girl Scout museum to go with it. And when you're walking around Savannah, you're going to see a lot of Girl Scouts, because they all come here to pay homage to her, or whatever. I'm not a girl, so I don't really know what they do there. But even if you're not a girl, you can still go, all right? Another one of the really nice houses here is called the Green Meldrum House. When Sherman was going through the South and burning his way through, that is the house that he stayed in when he was here. I mean, it must have been pretty nice that they offered Sherman to stay there so they wouldn't burn the city down. Okay, it is a really beautiful house. You definitely can go to the tours, go check in. It is amazing. Actually, Savannah is so nice. Sherman gave Savannah as a Christmas gift to Abraham Lincoln. Okay, so it's a pretty historical town and a very beautiful town. Okay, yeah. So those are the three main houses you want to see that you want to go check out. Now, some more history stuff here. You have the Roundhouse Museum. It's a railroad complex. It's one of the oldest in the entire world that's still working. Largest and oldest railroads, and actually you can actually take steam trains that are there. If you come at the right time of the year, they have actual steam trains that take you back and forth to see how it actually was set up. And they actually still use the roundhouse. Is basically what happens, like the trains would go in, well the engines would go in and they just sit there because they didn't want to turn the engines off because the coal took long to start up, so they just leave them heating all night. So they come in, there's what's called a turntable, and it spins it around and shoots you out. And so you can go on these things. It's kind of a cute thing, and if you're there with your kids, they're really going to like it. Also, in the same ticket, you get to go to the Savannah History Museum and see they have nice exhibits about the city and all kinds of stuff there, and it's all together. And that's also, we're going to start your trolley tours, so you might as well check it out too. All right? Next thing you want to do when you're here is, guys, eating in Savannah. Guys, I've been here for 2 weeks. I put on 10 pounds, 5 kilos. The food is that good here. Everywhere you go, you're going to have a good meal and lots of it, and whatever calories you think it is, double it, because they cooked everything with lots of butter. I mean, it's crazy. I'm being kind of silly, but it is. The food here is amazing. And whether it's Mrs. Wilkes or Paula Deen or whoever, you can go to those places, but any restaurant you're going to eat well. And it's not just Southern food. They have great international fare here as well. Okay? And then the last thing I want to say, the 10th thing I love about coming here and wanting to check out is you want to go to the beach too. Because you can't just see history all the time and look at Spanish moss. You need to sit out on the beach and have a cold one and to do kinds of things. So the 10th thing I say is go out to Tybee Island and go sit on the beach. There's little, bars there, restaurants. Go party there at night. Chill out on the beach. Have your cooler. No glass on the beach, just cans. Okay, go out there and have a great time. So the 10 things that you should do and see when you're here in Savannah, Georgia are: 1, go down to River Street, have a drink down there, have some meals down there during the day. It's a great time. 2, take a trolley tour. Go around the city and see all the amazing stuff they have to see with wonderful guides. 3, go around to see the squares. The squares around town are amazing. They're beautiful. You're going to love them. 4, check out Forsyth Park for kind of a little relaxation in the city. 5, you have the historic buildings like the Davenport House. That's number 5. Number 6 is the Green Meldrum House. Number 7 is the Juliet Gordon Low House, the Girl Scout one. Okay, those really amazing stuff. Next, you have the Roundhouse Museum, where they have the trains, the Savannah History Museum, all those things. Really nice stuff to check out. Number 9 is eating in Savannah. Okay, just that. Go eat. You'll have a great time just by doing that. Eating and drinking, because remember, it's a fun town. And number 10, going out to Tybee Island to have a nice time. And what's cool is, I can say number 11 is the marshes. Go around. There's marshes all around Savannah. So when you drive out to Tybee, you're going to come over some bridges and you'll just see the marshland all over the place, and it is really beautiful. So if you're here in Savannah, you're going to see these things. But if you're thinking about coming to the South United States, this is definitely one town you have to check out. Okay, Savannah, Georgia, definitely one of the 10 prettiest towns in America. So